head don't feel like it used to. I miss my homies, yeah. The thing we had discontinued, but I'm not lonely yet. I don't wanna talk about it anymore. Yeah, I'm drinking cause I'm bored. Down by behind locked doors, yeah. In my head, my head, my head.
Welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight you're going to join us for two ABC Overwatch matches as Boise State looks to end the season on a strong note. They've already gotten off to a great start with a 6-2 record. They're going to be going up against Maryland first off in this match. I'm your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Brenner Ladd. And Brenner, main thing we've been talking about is that over the past few weeks is just kind of the meta is very set and stagnant a little. You know, Zarya, Genji, Sojourn, just wreaking havoc atop the meta. But I think we might have an opportunity to see my favorite tank, Roadhog, why don't you explain, given his counter and given the first stage we're playing on?
Well, first stage we're playing on Azalea, so hopefully if we can even see the map well, we're going to see some amazing hooks and environmentals. But he's come out as the emerging tank to burst down the Zarya bubbles the fastest out of all of the tanks. So that's why he's kind of been the emerging. But as soon as he is able to take down the Zarya bubbles and able to win that kind of tank battle, there's not a whole lot he can do for the rest of his team. So it's kind of a risk-reward type situation of, do you really want to burn down the Zarya that quickly, or can you try to just out-sustain her and win the team fight?
Here's a recap of the rules we have. It's 5v5 competitive best of 3. We're going to be going to control, hybrid, escort, and then should it have to go to a tiebreaker, we will use push to decide the winner. And like I said, Boise State 6-2 currently in ABC Overwatch. And the way that they got there is by following Doc's keys to the game, of course, and that's to understand your comp and play style, focus on each fight, get good ultimate value, and remember that the objective is worth more than kills. Doc's keys to the game brought to us by Drop-In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. As we're ready to load in, we will also get a chance to see the lineup that Boise State has afoot. And like you said, Ilios being the first stage chosen. Boise State hopes ended in 2 stages for this best of 3. Just get a quick 2-win sweep. And as far as the lineup is concerned, Clear, Gob, Matt Merck, Bagel, and Chosen. And you notice Matt Merck is not in the usual tank position.
Yeah, he's taking over the DPS role. So it's really the question of between him and Goblin, who is going to take over that Sojourn. We know Goblin really likes his variety, so I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Merck maybe takes over the Sojourn role here. But when it comes to Ilios, it's really a toss-up. We've also seen Reaper become the emerging second DPS choice to help burn down that front line because it's so crucial to winning that team fight. So it's really going to be all eyes on the DPS of who takes what role here.
And we are indeed starting off on well.
So now is the time to hopefully see the Roadhog from the silhouette. We already see at least one Zarya, so maybe people want to just start off safe with a meta that they know that they can play. But maybe later on we will see the Roadhog emerge. Or maybe people over in the red brought out the Roadhog. Fingers crossed here on desk.
Yeah, we don't exactly know what color Boise State is in right now. But as soon as the match starts, we will have all our questions answered as the doors open and both teams go a-charging. And yeah, based off the silhouettes, we're just seeing the standard Zarya. Boise State is in the blue. And it looks like pretty much a mirror match.
Yeah, then we're back to, I would say, good old traditional Overwatch 2, but the game's been out for, what, 2 months now? So saying it's good old traditional is a bit
of a misnomer.
Yeah, we're not there yet. But
well, as the first team fight unfolds, Boise State is going to rotate over to the point, but Sleep is the first one to get a pick. A lot of fire being exchanged between these two teams, but thanks to the positioning, Boise State is the one to take the point first, despite getting picked off.
Yeah, they're able to sustain the fight, but will ultimately end up giving up the point. They were able at least to get 11%, so they got some ground to give and try to even things out before they have to re-engage on Maryland. Maryland not even taking space here as the Broncos were just able to regroup so quickly. Matt Merck never falling. Also, Matt Merck is on the tank roll, and it was clear. So
there's a lot of stuff we were promised here tonight that hasn't come to fruition. Instead,
maybe
we're
we'll
just
see
seeing
the swaps later on.
You know, the good old Overwatch 2 meta and the good old Boise State roles that we all know and know. Clear and Speep are both going to be exchanging some trades back and forth. Graviton Surge thrown out onto the point as Reaper's trying to get away, but Matt Merck mows him down. Thanks to the sound barrier, Boise State gets a little bit extra health. Maryland also used both of their ultimates in terms of supports. Boise State actually isn't on the point, so they're not contesting it. They want to win the team fight first. Molly thrown out by Clear is going to get Speep. Tony is next to fall, and I would say that is the point taken. But they're going to try to stall it out just a little bit longer, Maryland.
Yeah, that Reaper Wraith form able to buy them at least 2 more percentage minimum. But the Broncos do have their Katsune to engage for this next fight, and Maryland doesn't have anything to answer. Maybe the Death Blossom if they can charge up a whole third of it in time, which is not likely, especially for Reaper of all characters. Especially going up against Matt Merck with double bubble. But Goblin's trying to go for a little bit of a cheekier flank to build it up, as there's the Katsune.
Boise State just goes charging in. Speaking of charges, Clear has fully charged up that rail gun. Can use it, but isn't going to use it for this team fight since 3 picks is already going to win it for Boise State. They're just going to make some room for themselves and push Maryland back to spawn.
Yeah, they need to push this advantage and just try to at least get to even percentage. Finally closing in, 5% remaining. Maryland looking for an opening, and they've really been able to succeed in these pushes off the back of Sleep, trying to get an early pick. But Clear is going to get the first pick this time around on Nepal, which is an excellent opener.
He sure knows how to press down the right mouse button, already picking off. Speed is going to head down by Goblin, actually, who's getting right in the face of Maryland. Good job by Boise State. They're past 70%, so now 2 team fight territory with a huge hefty ultimate advantage as well.
Yeah, Maryland had a little bit of a rough start, but was able to regroup, take the point, and hold it for at least 1 team fight. But Goblin going for a very cheeky early Death Blossom. He's going to pull it off with a triple and finish off. Okay. Can't really show that out, bud.
Unfortunate. Railgun brought out by Clear and the Graviton Surge to just prevent Maryland from touching the point at all. That looks like it's going to be it. Boise State taking the first stage well, which means the main possibility we have for seeing Roadhog is now off the table, so I'm instantly more sad.
I mean, I want to say you tried, Mushi, but your whole team was dead. So use it or you lose it at that point because they just couldn't get to a point on time or anything. Not even like a Sombra was brought out to try to, you know, teleport behind with stealth, but Goblin, just a beautiful play there. Wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be play of the game for Control here. As we head over to Lighthouse.
A nice view of the Greek Harbor before we head into some very intense fighting. Boise State looking to sweep this first round 2-0. See how they do that. And yep, another mirror match, just running it back.
I mean, this is the equivalent of Overwatch 1 GOATs. Is we're going to see it nonstop all night long. So get ready for plenty of Sojourn and Reaper plays of the games. Maybe even a Zarya if we're lucky to get thrown in there. But Goblin first. I don't know if I
could live with that much variety in my life. Right now, both these teams exchanging fire, and Boise State is going to lose 2. Trying to fight back, but Clear realizes he has to retreat. Going to retreat back with Chosen and wait for the retake.
Yeah, Seep has been able to get the first pick on first team fights again and again, either on Clear or Goblin. Goblin having to just play so far forward on this Reaper has definitely been costing his team, but at this time Matt Merck even booped down, will get eliminated by Tony. That means the Broncos are already having to play on their back foot.
Oh, Boise State can't seem to get any holding as 3 of them are taken out. Chosen is the 4th. It means Maryland is going to be sitting very pretty with their ult charges.
25% is a great start for them. Broncos just need to regroup and find an opening this time. They're continuing to go for the high ground rotations. They just need to watch out for Pumpkin on this Lucio to boop off the Zarya. I mean, it worked last time, but it seems they're finally going to rotate the long way around. Bagel's going to get first blood for this team fight on to Seep.
Tony almost charging up the Graviton Surge. Could put a damper on Boise State's enthusiasm to take the point, but isn't using it quite yet. Kitsune also online for Maryland. There goes the Graviton Surge as well as the Kitsune.
Very early grab for that fight. Only able to get Goblin, but Goblin's able to survive for a little bit as double Kitsune comes out. And he goes in the favor of Maryland.
That's a one fight, but that's spending just about everything you can for that fight. I don't know if the sound barrier was really necessary at that point, but in either case, Boise State is going to be able to have their own sound barrier for this next fight, as well as Railgun, Gravitons. I mean, they got picked. They got picked.
Yeah, there was definitely a big overcommit in the prior fight from honestly both sides. I don't think the Broncos need to commit their Kitsune there as they had already lost a team member. They wanted to try to sustain it, but they didn't have pressure on point and were being pushed back already. So now they're going to kick things off with an early Railgun.
Clear doing some work. There goes the sound barrier to try to give Boise State a little bit of sustain, as well as the Death Blossom right into Tony and Paul. Boise State is going to break the point not a moment too soon because it is 99%.
Yeah, definitely not ideal for the Broncos, but better late than never. But also I'd like to touch on how both Reapers, Death Blossom, and Goblin still showed how to do it better in that scenario where her Mushi just sadly got line-of-sighted on point right in that corner. So now, once again, an early grab. This time much better, able to catch out at least two, will lead to a quad there. So that's another reset for Maryland. A nice, good, early, fast, clean team fight. Only one ult committed, but now they're going to have to watch out for Maryland's both grab and railgun. Hopefully they've been at least calling it out as Kitsune is also coming online.
Yeah, I think it's all up to Clear to maybe charge up the railgun manually and maybe get a pick on the start to stop too much damage, but there goes the grab. And already one railgun picks up Bagel. Goblin is next, and Matt Merck. Clear is able to get one pick onto Pumpkin, but it's going to have to be little consolation. He's still managing to survive, surprisingly enough. Throws the molly right onto the point and takes out Mushi. Look at Clear. He is single-handedly bringing this back.
2 for 2. Or I guess 1 for 2 for the sake of Clear, but right now it's just all out stall, and Matt Merck's back on his hamster. So this is the time where they can easily hold point. Goblin even having to swap over to stall Tracer, but so is Maryland with Mushi swapping over her, but Broncos have a life advantage. So it seems that they will be able to hold it. Maryland so close to regaining that, but Clear.
Yep.
Huge plays there, as we've already touched on. Can't say it enough.
Mushi also swapping back over to the Reaper.
He retains that 30%.
Pumpkin we have some support ultimates coming online for both teams right now. So we'll see who ults first. Kitsune used first by Chosen. It's responded by the sound barrier. Look out for Goblin. He's looking for this juicy pulse bomb. And that is not juicy, that is bone dry.
Eaten by the bubble, but now it's battle for the point. Able to take down Tank means this should be the Broncos fight. Now also taking down Mushi, Pumpkin, and Seep. That should be a team wipe there, and it is, but it seems that will spill the end for Maryland as no one will be able to get back in time. As Tony even going over to the Diva to try to get to the point in time, it will not be enough.
Boise State managing to turn it around at 99-0. A key play by Clear was able to lock down the victory, but we'll see who the official play of the game goes to. And it's going to be Tony as the Zarya.
Even after the double Goblin and very nice Death Blossoms, we'll just go over to even the Maryland Zarya, very impressive, but just
I mean, hey,
down,
that's still 4. Yeah,
yeah,
that's still 4, so. Well, if you want to find a way to get involved with Boise State this holiday season, this December, Boise State Esports is partnering with the Idaho Central Credit Union and Idaho Food Bank to host the Giving Games Charity Tournament. Gamers can compete for glory, but the ultimate winners will be neighbors facing hunger who will receive nutritious food for meals thanks to contestant and spectator support. For every $1 donated, the Idaho Food Bank can provide up to 4 meals. So for more information on how you can watch and support, go to boisestate.edu/esports/event/givinggames2022. Sorry, I just need to take a little bit of water there before, because that was quite a turnaround. Yeah, but I mean, if it's already boisestate.edu/esports, which everyone knows, and then just add events and then Giving Games 2022. So not too bad.
As long as people remember it, that's the important part.
Yep. Esports, events, Giving Games 2022.
There we go. We got it. It's memorized now. Everyone can type in chat perfectly.
Even if you can just go to the base Boise State Esports page and then just click on the events tab and it'll be there for you.
So heading into map 2, hybrid. With how much we've changed it up,
we are not going to change it up this time because it is Kings Row.
We've had too much variety.
Yep.
We've had Eichenwald. We've had Hollywood, which I'm surprised.
We were really kind of spoiled last broadcast, weren't we? Because now we're getting absolutely nothing in terms of originality.
I mean, at least for our second match of the night, we're starting off on Oasis, so it's a little bit of variety for Control. It's not, Ilios, Lijiang Tower. So that's exciting to look forward to. But going over to Kings Row, daytime Kings Row as well, it's going to be the meta comp. I mean, you just have to flat out say it's going to be the meta comp. If we change it up, maybe a Genji. We've seen Hanzo once or twice. People have still tried to do Brawl as well, but Brawl does not work, especially with how strong Sojourner is at this current point in time. We'd love to always see, Pharmacy, maybe a Statue of Liberty play with a Bastion, but it's just not ideal with the current meta comp of just Sojourn Reaper has really been the emerging top DPS that no one's been able to counter, which is why we've seen maybe a Roadhog to counter the Zarya. But Tony's done really well on the Zarya, and so has Matt Murk. Even when he swapped over to the Wrecking Ball, he was still able to hold the front line at the last minute. So, I mean, even Wrecking Ball was very nice, but we didn't get to see very much of it. So hopefully we can see more of it in the future, even if it is our very own Matt Murk that we know he is the top Wrecking Ball around.
Well, Boise State leading 1-0. If they win this, they win the series.
We're going to see what's 3-0s. Or 2-0s, I guess, in a best of 3.
And we take a look at the silhouettes. Looks like nothing much has changed from the first round.
It never does. But this is only one side of the silhouettes. We'd assume Broncos in the blue. Try to keep at least some scheme to it. But on attack, we have seen a Sombra once. Whole one time. But seems that we'll just stick to the meta comp. Even with Torbjorn back in the meta, you think Goblin
would get that is not a Zarya silhouette. That's a Winston silhouette I see.
Then you saw it faster than him. It's the Broncos attack
okay, and bringing out the Widow as well.
This is definitely the high damage Matt Murk Winston we can expect to come out here. Already so behind enemy lines, causing mass chaos of who to target focus down. But Goblin's able to get first pick with this Widowmaker, having to get aggressive now as they just simply line of sight behind the hotel. So quickly the point was given up.
Boise State really having not too much resistance. With that, they're going to be taking the payload quite quick. A recontest attempted by Maryland. The shield is thrown down. Can they even contest it? Tony is racing onto the point where Goblin tries to take someone out with this Widowmaker.
He's looking for the squishies.
But it's just going to have to settle with putting some damage onto the Zarya, which Clear is going to be thankful for. He clears that up, and that's going to be the point taken.
Nice, clean snap headshots there. It started initially out with Maryland having some hope with trading tank for tank, but Goblin able to just clean them up so quickly that Maryland is going to have to regroup here. I'm surprised they haven't swapped over to anything to try to counteract the Widowmaker here. Maybe go something along the... Well, I guess Kariko could, but that's your support that maybe doesn't have the DPS to take down the Widow fast enough, but Goblin's just going to swap off of it over to the Reaper to have better teamfight capabilities in the front line to help out his Winston. Instead, he's just going to feed a little bit and push a little bit too far forward.
Kitsune brought out a by Chosen. That's going to help take out speed, but that one deserves another. I do not know what we were watching there. I don't know. Did a table lamp mug Goblin in the back alley? Because he had a score to settle with the furniture.
Sometimes you just gotta take out your rage where you can and shoot a portrait off the wall. But a very early solo grab for none other than Matt Merck himself, and he still survives through it all. Now Mushi finally pulls off a fantastic Death Blossom, picking up 2. Pumpkin even takes down Goblin, who is not in the entirety of that team fight, and just struggles in to feed that little bit extra ultimate percentage. So Broncos having to reset.
Taking the first point so quickly might have put the Broncos in a bit of a lackadaisical state, because Maryland has been showing them up in both these team fights. Matt Merck has the Primal Rage. That's going to be the only ultimate available, whereas Maryland has the Sound Barrier and Railgun coming online pretty soon.
Yeah, it seems the Broncos might want to try to charge up the Death Blossom, but it's still so far away.
Yeah.
And Tony with that beam charged up takes down Clear from maximum range as well. Matt Merck falling very low, does not have the healing, so he will have to pop Primal Rage to get the elimination onto Seep. Now the Sound Barrier comes out as well to try to maintain pressure on Cart to deny any momentum forward. And full beam Zarya doing work right now for Maryland.
And you can see Boise State, and Goblin trying to get right in their faces is going to actually play. That actually works out. Of all the times I've run into the enemy team with a Death Blossom hoping for the best, I guess Boise State is glad to take that one.
Giving me some reminders of Overwatch 1 days of Ilios just dropping down from up top, pulling off the beautiful Death Blossom solo style. So Goblin's still able to pull it off, bring his team back, and get the checkpoint. But Maryland having triple ults built up here, and the Broncos only having their own Katsune to maybe try to run away. But Goblin!
That deserves a Stabobo, I think. Can we get that from production?
Saw that.
Yeah.
Just after a beautiful Death Blossom 2, just jump off the edge? Big oof.
Yeah, that needs to be a replay that we play in between sides here. And of course,
an ego check.
I'm definitely calling out production. I want to see that as the replay between the matches, and I want to see the Stabobo graphic with Doc's disappointed face adorning. All right, you heard it. Make my wish come true. It probably won't happen, but here we go.
No faith in production whatsoever. But Maryland able to get first pick on to Clear once again, able to burn down these DPSs faster than the Broncos would like here. Only having both support ultimates online, going up against the Railgun. Death Blossom once again online for Mushi, as well as the Katsune. So Broncos need to get an early pick onto one of them, as back-to-back Katsunes will go in the favor of the Broncos, taking down Mushi early on, denying that Death Blossom. Now Sound Barrier as well, very early on to assist with the push. Tries to burn down the Zarya, will finally get it, but it takes 4 of the Broncos to take down 1 Zarya.
The Boise State is going to have to be a bit cautious here. They're trying to make room for themselves, but they got to keep in mind that there's a lot of blue check marks for Maryland, and not the type you pay $8 for. These are ones that they have earned, and they can be dangerous.
This ends now.
Sound Barrier coming out. All 3 of Maryland's coming out very quickly. Early Death Blossom, no one around. Broncos able to scatter in time, but Bagel, Clear, and Goblin. That's a wipe for the Broncos. Only Chosen able to survive.
Nope.
So long.
Nope, that is a full team wipe for Maryland. Good news is for Boise State, the silver lining is they'll be able to reset as a full team. They're the ones that have the only ultimate available right now. If they can maybe do some quick target focus, but for Tony might be able to use this as Graviton. It's going to be interesting. Which tank uses their ult first is the question.
Well, Matt Merck's definitely got to be the first, as he was just 1v1ing a Reaper. Did not have the health, had to Primal Rage to get it back, but still being burned down so low. Finally able to run away in time. But the rest of his team was not able to make any concise push, so they're going to have to fall back and regroup. Once again, minute 45 on the clock means Broncos are running out of time here, and Maryland's been able to hold them, but This final checkpoint in Kings Row is always next to impossible to get.
It's interesting. We see Sigma being brought out. I would imagine you can charge one Gravitic in the time allotted, but they're only going to be able to charge one. So once they get that, it's got to be consequential. Speaking of consequential, there goes a Graviton Surge out.
Only on one, though. We'll pick up Bagel, and Goblin just burned down simply because he couldn't close the distance. Ooh, clear trading out Mushi as Tony gets the elimination. This Zarya, see why she's in the meta. She's just getting top DPS and eliminations here.
More stagger placed onto Boise State. And a swap over to the Zarya.
Yep.
So.
I think that was definitely the smartest move for the Broncos is any tank you've been trying to get some variety. We appreciate it here on Desk, but it's not been working, and they need to try to secure this third checkpoint so they can have the 3 points and try to hold Maryland outright. They do have double Katsune available, as well as Railgun coming online for Maryland. And Death Blossom, they're going to have their 3 ultimates for this next fight. Hopefully they don't press them all at the same time. I think that definitely cost them in the prior fights, but we will just have to wait and see. It's the Broncos, once again, Goblin getting burned down by the Zarya.
They're kind of waiting out the ultimates that Maryland has.
15 seconds.
Well, they can use what they have. There goes Kitsune to start things off. Railgun charged, and the Graviton Surge is actually going to be online pretty soon, too. Goblin picks up a triple with the Death Blossom. That's going to get them the push. And there's still going to be one recontest, though, from Maryland, and they have 3 ultimates to do so. This is exact... Oh, well, Mushi is just going to bite the dust.
Mid Death Blossom gets shut down. Poor Mushi. He had one good one, but none others, as Goblin finally able to take down Tony early on in, as well as Matt American Goblin clearing out. They're so staggered they will not be able to recontest in time, so Broncos finally get point 3, but with no time remaining.
I mean, with as big a start that they got off to, them finishing with no time left is a bit disappointing. And I think, oh, are we going to say, thank you, production. I appreciate it. Now we just need the Sabobo graphics. Doc's disapproving.
No, I don't think this is the fall. I think this is the final push, just based off the time.
You know what? I told you I couldn't count on it.
We had too much hope. We had too much hope.
I had too much hope. Alrighty. Well, that's impressive too, I guess.
I guess. Goblin getting another triple with that Death Blossom followed up by clear with the Railgun. Always nice to see. Broncos finally bringing it together, but Maryland is... They stalled off so much time for the Broncos that now with Broncos on the defense, can Maryland maybe play as well on offense as they did on the defense? As seems like we're just returning to the meta.
And the main thing that I noticed for that last round that Boise State might have to improve on is I wasn't seeing necessarily that much target focus, you know, from the team. It seems like, especially when the Primal Rages online, it was just kind of, well, I'll hit this person, then go over and hit this person. And it didn't really result in any of those quick picks that get you the team fight.
Yeah, and it definitely, we saw it cost Matt Merkes. He was only able to survive with 47 health in that last Primal Rage, so seeing why he does not want to return to the Winston here, especially for defense. The Zarya just provides too much utility with the double bubble. Well, and it seems we're returning to the meta, but Maryland's going to need to find an early opening, not going for any of the cheeky picks like the Broncos did, but Mushi pushing up so far is immediately going to have to retreat back to his team as Goblin's able to provide that pressure to push the Broncos forward. It's no more wall and mull. It is simply just a DPS check of can he get through the Zarya bubbles and healings, and Goblin doesn't have it. He will go down first.
That is a huge pick, and Clear also almost getting himself into trouble, caught out in that statue. He gets away, but is only able to trade 1 for 1. Boise State is going to lose this. Bagel trying to Reddit Lucio here, and it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, that's a huge stagger for Maryland. They should get this first point. Even scouting out Chosen will get taken down, so Broncos are going to have to give it. I might want to say that Maryland took that faster than the Broncos there. Broncos not able to stagger out that fight long enough. Goblin will get scouted out and have to Wraith form away. Just pushed way too far forward with no support in sight. Just buying Maryland that much more time and free distance on the car. Broncos just need to regroup here and finally have a concise push. But Mushi's maybe trying to go for a cheeky flank. Katsune is online for Paul as well, and not for the Broncos, but Seep is going to be first eliminated.
That's not the only one that's on the menu. Boise State is, it looked like they might be able to take out Moshi, but he's healed back up, as well as Paul. And we're gonna now get to this infamous choke point here. A lot of damage being exchanged back and forth. Kitsune brought out by Maryland. 1-for-1 trade by both Sojourns.
Tank goes down, so Broncos not looking too good, especially since they just had that Graviton Surge. Tony and Seep both have their ultimates, as well as Sound Barrier coming online. It seems Maryland might be able to sustain a little bit here and push forward, finally pushing Broncos off as they do not have Matt Merck to hold the front line. Will cost Goblin, and they're going to continue that wrath forward.
And one Molly from Clear, not enough to stop the charging from Maryland as that Zarya just mows him down.
He's able to take Mushi with him before going down, though. I believe the Broncos supports are separated for their team right now as they went up high and didn't go for the background rotations as they're stuck out by forward spawn. Double grab!
And a sound barrier to keep Maryland and Boise State alive.
This is a mirror match.
All right, they're gonna try to move forward.
It's gonna be double
but
death
Goblin
blossom.
wants that bubble too.
Oh, gets one and eliminated.
That's unfortunate.
Mushi got one. Goblin didn't get a single one, and that's the checkpoint. So that's a pause coming out here as Broncos got team wiped. All right.
Oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
You can hear the players on stage.
I heard
Thriving.
I heard some desk slams there. Oh my
Understandably.
goodness. I am in a total Keith Morrison mood. You know the guy who does Dateline on NBC?
Yep.
And he's always so morbidly curious about it. He's like, oh no, that's terrible. Nah, but yeah, it seemed like
technical issues as
possible technical issues.
I believe the power strip was tripped once again, so
Oh yeah, you can
computers might
see
have
the
gone down.
3 monitors
Yeah.
in front. Well,
Baby Rage was too much and hit the power strip.
the fury tripped the. Okay. Well,
He didn't get his bubble, man.
yeah, man, Boise State. I mean, they were off to such a good start on the first fight. I mean, they took the point almost instantly, but then from there on out, it was just time after time again, a series of unfortunate events. And, I mean, this is what Goblin was hoping to happen when they both used that Death Blossom, but that was
Seems longer time has gone on. Mushi has been he's coming online, and
we were talking about how at the beginning on Ilios, Mushi wasn't able to match Goblin's Death Blossom. Now the shoe's on the other foot, so to speak.
yeah, I mean, when they were on offensive, Goblin still did pretty well, but now that Mushi's on the offensive and Goblin's having to play more defensive, he hasn't made that adjustment yet, and he's playing very far forward, and it's been costing him a lot of those lives. He's had to Wraith Form away. That's ability on cooldown that then Maryland can capitalize on. So we've seen it cost him multiple times here, so now as we just wait for the technical issues, it's definitely just all eyes on who can really make the Reaper first step, because they've been the biggest plays for a lot of these team pushes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Boise State also just, I know I've already said it once, but I'm not seeing, like, clear targets be picked out by them. It seems like they're going over, you know, it might be as an assumption of, hey, you know, we can just win all these one-on-ones, but it's not a game of one-on-ones. It's a game of team fights and objectives.
I mean, there's a reason why we took it out of Doc's keys, because one-on-ones were great for a little bit, but as time has gone on, Overwatch is still a team game, and you have to remember that. And I think that's just been maybe an adjustment issue so far for the Broncos right now, because we've touched on it multiple times, target prioritization. We've seen it from the side of Maryland where Tony calls a target, and they collapse on him again and again and again, which is why Tony's gotten so many eliminations. And also, I think it's the Broncos just not respecting how much DPS Tony's been able to output.
Yeah.
If we were able to see his perspective, I wouldn't be surprised if he ever falls below 80 a lot of the time. So we'll just have to wait and see how they might adjust going forward.
Well, the Idaho Army National Guard is a proud sponsor of Boise State Esports. Top plays are presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. Looks like we're still having a bit of some resets going on. So overall, do you think Boise State, man, this is the time where we normally like to bring out predictions.
Yep.
Does Boise State hold them? Because they're going to have to hold them like for a full 5 minutes in the final phase.
I mean, Maryland was able to do so, so you would hope the Broncos are able to do it if they're able to regroup and have more concise targeting. I think if they're able to pick a target, get the elimination, and just roll that ball forward rather than just, all right, go and figure it out type situation, I think it's looking very good for them. Also, Goblin not falling off the edge is key note. We don't want that to happen again.
No.
And just to poke fun because we can.
If production isn't going to bring it up, we're going to bring it up. We're going
Exactly.
to reference it.
If they're not going to do it, we're going to do it because we can.
Because we can.
Because we can.
I like the mindset. Well,
also, I think now is the perfect time to bring out the Roadhog. He has been the foremost counter to Zarya that we've seen emerging from the meta and the pro scene. So if the Broncos, they're interested in changing up their tank lineup. We've seen that they brought out the Winston, they brought out the Wrecking Ball, they brought out the Sigma. So now's the time for the Roadhog to try to burn down Tony on the Zarya, who's been a real clear threat. They've been able to address Seep on this Sojourn, who's still able to get really good picks here and there, but that's just Sojourn being the top DPS in the game right now. And then Mushi on this Reaper, I think is definitely, they're able to handle them, but still keep an eye on. I think all eyes just turn to Tony, get the elimination, so swapping over to Roadhog, if Matt Mark is comfortable on it, could be the game changer.
So what I wanted to ask you, since we're going to be seeing a lot of the final stage of King's Row, is what is it about the stage that just kind of lends itself to everything seeming to happen in the latter third?
Well, you can have anywhere from holding corners to close quarters combat. You have the longer middle section to where we've seen snipers come out and a lot of verticality. So it allows for a lot of different strategies where it makes it super interesting, where you either have a hard hold and everyone tries to throw anything they can, or you just sit down and push forward the best you can. Old nighttime Kings Row, we miss you so much. But
Yeah.
I mean, third point for any cart push, whether it's hybrid or escort, is just all out. You got to do one of the two things: push forward and try to out DPS them, or try to throw a unique strategy in there. So it's really all up in the air for Kings Row here. And I enjoy seeing the Winston when the Broncos were attacking. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think Maryland will change up. Tony has been doing way too well on the Zarya, but they need someone to address the verticality elements that Broncos clearly took advantage of on when they were attacking. So now here on defense, they're still going to take advantage of it. We know Goblin can play the Widowmaker as well, as he showcased the first time round. So are Maryland ready for that? I suspect so, but they gave the Widow so much ground that I'm worried if Goblin brought it out again, he might capitalize on it too much. So Maryland would swap over to the Winston, but now they don't have a front line for the main battle because he's having to deal with the Widowmaker. If that's even the case being brought out, because everyone is so hard stuck of Sojourn Reaper.
It would be nice to see anything else, and Boise State definitely had a few kind of off picks. They tried to even bring out the Sigma for a little bit, but it seemed...
It was a nice change.
Yeah, but just doesn't seem like those tank choices. They always ended up going back to Zarya.
Yeah, she's definitely just been the foremost. We did see Tony hover the Diva in the last 5 seconds of Ilio, so I guess that's the possibility of always coming back out, especially with how projectile heavy this current meta is outside of the Zarya. So if Broncos change up tank, that's the one time we could see a change up. But we don't know just yet. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's a lot of just having to wait and see. It's just anticipation. We can only make so many predictions until it comes true. But also, maybe the new Omnit tank that's coming out soon could be the game changer as well. And we've also seen leaks of the new healer that comes out after that as well, which is a new weird snake Omnic too.
It's nice to be back into the season of regular releases, is what I'll say.
It's not a 2-year difference between Echo and Overwatch 2.
Well, here we go.
Back into
Maryland has already gotten the checkpoint, and Boise State is having to stage the defense of a lifetime here.
Ooh, Goblin. Nice first blood, at least on Tamushi, but with the Katsune coming out, Tony is just running them down, but he might have ran them down a bit too far, and it will cost him, but I think this is a fight Maryland can definitely afford to lose with 4 minutes on the board. And this will definitely allow the Broncos to recuperate that lost ult percentage that they lost from the disconnect. As I believe it was Goblin Bagel and Chosen who were disconnected here on stage. So Katsune used, I'm surprised Paul didn't go for the swap off, but with a single grab and the railgun coming out, I think it was a bit of an overcommit from the Broncos.
Tony gets taken out again, and I think that might be a crucial thing. Paul also put on a bit of a stagger. As long as they just, you know, keep taking out Tony before he has the opportunity to fully charge up the Zarya, that's a big part of Maryland's offense gone.
Yeah, and I'd also like to highlight Tony's Graviton Surges. He's never been able to get maybe 1 or 2 members. We saw him get 3 members once on Ilios, and that allowed them to win the team fight.
And look at this. They're just kind of blitzing Tony, so to speak.
And it's double 100%, but Seep still gets Goblin, who pushed too far forward. It's just capitalizing on little tiny mistakes like that. That's the high-level play we're at. Both these teams are 6-2 and want to move over to 7-2. A nice grab in the backline will get both supports, but Sound Barrier will deny it.
Speaking of sound barriers, Boise State expends theirs to retake this point. Not only thrown out, Goblin already taken out Mushi. Up next is going to be Tony on the Zarya, trying to get away, but is not going to be able to. Bagel finishes him off with a boop.
Yeah, that's the perks of Overwatch 2. Once you get 2 eliminations, the fight's over, and you just either have to throw your bodies at him and just go for the reset, or try to fall back, which could lead to a possible stagger. So Maryland at least has 2 ultimates, soon to be 3 if they can get the grab. Leading in with the Katsune, tries to get to that backline. Goblin's just having to simply teleport away. Finally, we're going to see him fall back and try to help his team rather than push forward and get an elimination. As Pumpkin takes down Clear, but trades out with Bagel taking down Mushi in the backline.
So close to that Zarya. But he's going to be forced back.
Ooh, Clear swapping over to Nueto, and Goblin denied with a beautiful triple railgun coming out from Seep. Broncos having to all-out stall with 1:50. Maryland has the time advantage right now.
Well, Matt Merck is going to go full spin to win right now. There goes a Death Blossom that's going to put an end to his merry-go-round. Chosen also gets taken out. Ugh, that was heartbreaking right there. He was trying to go for the big play, but he pressed the old button too soon. He was caught clear up, and the sound cue just alerted that Sojourn right to where he was, and just one right click, and that did it.
Maryland really coming alive in this second half of Kings Row, bringing us to overtime, which is something we don't see a whole lot of, especially for the Broncos roster on Kings Row, no less. Seems this has just been Maryland's map so far on the attack, but now, since we're in overtime, Broncos not having a time advantage either, because I believe Maryland still had some few seconds above the minute, and since Broncos had none left, they only have that minute. So are they going to try to bring out the cheeky play once again with that early Widow Winston, or are they just going to try to stay old reliable of the Overwatch 2 meta?
I think they only stay on the Widow if they're able to get a pick in the first 5-10 seconds. Otherwise, they're spending way too much time that they cannot afford to spend.
Yeah, they don't have time to afford, so they're just going to... And also, I think they can't afford to leave just one person on cart and push forward. I think they just have to keep everyone on cart and play cart. Which begs the question, is Pirate Ship even an option, or do you just stay with the comp and brawl as hard as you can?
Now, it's actually going to be Maryland pushing. Remember, since Boise State didn't have any time, it's only 1 tick that Maryland needs to get. So Boise State, at best, can hope for a draw here, which is definitely salt in the wound. Matt Merck going very low on health, but Clear managing to pick up speed. Pumpkin also eliminated.
Good opener for the Broncos. Taking down the support line means a reset for Maryland. At least they have some time to afford here, but it's only 1 or 2 team fights depending on how long they can just have a clean reset. So Broncos just need to be able to hit clean, concise eliminations. But Seep is a huge railgun snipe, means that's an opening that the Broncos can't afford.
Time after time again, if you don't respect that Sojourn, Maryland has shown they're going to make you pay for it. They're already on to the point.
Ooh.
1 tick does it, and that is a win for Maryland. We're going to game 3.
1-1, and this is a best of 3. And if miraculously we do get a tiebreaker on Escort, we're headed to push. But see, Maryland has gotten both plays of the game so far. Even when they didn't win, but obviously, amazingly well-deserved. There's the denial. That final shot, just beautiful.
It seems Speep was consistently the one if Boise State had a game plan to just consistently ruin it.
So Seep and Mushi really struggling to come online, but slowly has, whereas Seep just been consistent again and again and again has caused the Broncos a lot of issues. And now heading over to Escort.
It's not often that we've seen ABC matches go all the way to the 3rd game. They're usually 2-0 sweeps, so this is pretty exciting and a heck of a day for my laryngitis to creep up on me, but I will stick it out. And what do you think, what stage? Because Boise State now has choice of the stages, so what did they go with?
I mean, my personal favorite of Route 66 is always my go-to. We love Route 66, especially now at nighttime. It's beautiful. I mean, I think so many people love going to just like the same map. And especially with Maryland picking Kings Row, I think Broncos might want to just pick their strongest map.
I don't know, but something's telling me Dorito.
Dorito.
Yep.
Oh, Dorito.
I just something is telling me.
It would be a nice change of pace, but we've seen Rialto. Am I remembering it correctly? We've seen that a lot. Am I remembering the map name correctly?
That is Rialto, and it is an Escort map, so you are you're
slowly
clear there.
losing my mind, as we've seen Rialto a lot.
We've also seen Junkertown a good bit too,
which has been a consistent pick for the opponent team when they're going up against Broncos, because they know it's our weakest map for Escort. But now it's the Broncos pick. Dorado would be interesting because I don't believe we've seen it this season in Overwatch 2, or even on this desk. At least I haven't.
Mm-hmm. But if we're continuing on in the tradition of night stages that have now been turned to day, it would be Dorado.
Doesn't mean it's a good thing.
I do prefer nighttime Dorado too.
I mean, it's just what we're used to. It looks the best for sure. It's not. It definitely looks more like the day after a giant party. And you're just kind of like,
oh,
let's go.
Well, hey, it seems like you were owed with as much comp stability as we've seen, and just the same heroes over and over again. Seeing Route 66, which has been the map that's chosen, is definitely going to be a nice surprise to Brenner.
And I'm hopeful that we can see this point 3 as it's something that we almost never get to see anymore. It's usually ended around point 2, rarely point 1 if it's that hard of a hold. But in this matchup, I know going into this matchup against Maryland of all teams, the last time we fought them, we 3-1 them in a prior tournament. So now that in a best of 3 we are 1-1 is definitely concerning, because the match after this we are taking on Toronto, who is a worrying opponent. So also it seems the Broncos are going to have a little bit of a comp swamp with Plato swapping in for Goblin here.
Yeah, I might just want to give Goblin a bit of a break. Things weren't working out too well during that last round, so sometimes you just need some time to take a quick breather and regroup for the next fight. And I gotta say, it almost feels like Route 66 has always been a night stage. It's like I was just seeing Route 66 during the day, and I was thinking, this was a day stage? Because it looks so good at night.
I know, and I'm so happy it is nighttime now. Not to say it didn't look good in the daytime. It looks good in both. But
you know what? Let's just make every stage night, because that seems to make everything look better. Get the lighting effects, the RTX.
If they can make Blizzard World look good at nighttime, I'll take it.
Oh, with the Ferris wheel and the
if they
roller
could do
coaster.
the lighting. If they
could do the lighting,
and it just looks like, the park, turned off and everything. It's just depression.
It would be funny though if like
That would make a good Halloween
the
map.
park announcements are just swapped over to "Thank you, make your way to the nearest exits." And
Or
thank
you just make it look completely abandoned, go all in Halloween for next year, because as we all know, it's Christmas time. Halloween is over. November 1st means it's Christmas time, baby.
Yep.
But Broncos going for comp swap as well, with Matt Merck starting off on Winston, whereas Maryland's sticking to Old Reliable.
Clear gets the first pick on toward Pumpkin.
Now on the Reaper as well, Plato taking over for the Soldier.
So Clear has stayed on DPS, but has swapped over to the Reaper. Boise State managing to burn a little bit of time off from Maryland. They haven't gotten really any payload push.
Ooh, Reaper with a nice teleport. Mammoth having to go in, but in that 1v1, he's not going to win that. Ooh, Zarya falling so low. Still is able to survive, but Plato's able to pick up Mushi. Clear's falling very low. Will get healed up thanks to that Kariko. Still making no distance on the curve. Broncos have been able to hold them longer than we've ever seen. It seems this swap on both DPS, both who's playing it and what role, has been working in favor of the Broncos, as we're just now passing 3-minute marker.
Broncos definitely seem to be moving a lot more cohesively as a team. If they're pushing up, it's 2 instead of 1. Pumpkin getting a pick onto Clear, though. I think that could be the first thing to dislodge Boise State's astounding defense, but Plato answering that back, so might have spoken too soon, and Boise State is also having a whole lot of ultimates available to them now.
Ooh, early grab with double support ults coming out from the Broncos and Railgun, all 3 committed. We'll be able to take down Tony and Paul. Some clean shots coming out here for Plato right now. We'll deny that small little push that Maryland tried to get going.
Man, he wanted to show that he's ready to play. Gets added to the team and gets a 4K just like that. And that's going to put it at 2 minutes now for Maryland. You might have foreshadowed this a little bit too early when we were looking at the third part of the map and you were saying how little we see it. Because right now, we're not even seeing we're only seeing the first fifth of the stage at this point.
I mean, we're just seeing the start of the stage and nothing else.
Almost getting the
almost lived as well thanks to the slide boosters, but nope, Seep will get knocked off due to that primal rage. And that's another showcase of just the Bronco 1v1s of just, Sojourn, you're going off the edge. Shoo. Even the Molly getting elimination onto Tony. Maryland needs to change something here because the Winston is causing them problems and Mushi has not been able to answer it. Maybe a Genji coming out here, but even then he would only be good against the support line. Seep finally gets a nice rail.
That's it.
Ooh. 2 down is a huge advantage, but the Broncos might be able to out-sustain here as Plato's just jumping right onto the support line, but now Tang, yep, that's the wipe.
But the beauty of this for the Broncos is because virtually no push has been gotten by Maryland, they will have another full team fight before the first checkpoint is taken, so they could still end it before Maryland even gets 1 point.
Especially with only 45 seconds remaining, Maryland can maybe afford to lose 1 team fight, regroup, and push again, but they are running out of time here, so it seems like this will be possibly the last team fight. But Death Blossom is online for both sides. It seems the Broncos are going to start with theirs first and get denied. This means Mushi has the opening.
Death Blossoms for Boise State just haven't been working out, so they're going to have to earn this the hard way.
Oh, there it is.
Doesn't do much either. But thanks to
At
Matt
least he
Merck.
lived.
Matt Merck cleared out the back line for Maryland, so now they can collapse on the remaining front line. They're going to jump right off the edge. There's just this Lucio left and no time remaining for Maryland. That is going to be a hold at 0 for Boise State.
They got the 40.8 meters at least, but I am very wary if Maryland will be able to hold them as well as the Broncos did. This Winston did work for them, and Tony just struggled to have any concise push. I also do not like that Graviton Surge when they had no DPS follow-up for it. Instead, the Broncos were just able to completely wipe them out. So Tony, I think, got a little bit cheeky there, needs to pull it back and focus on when his team is ready to go in rather than just be that one-man army. because he ain't Roadhog. Zarya's good, but she's not that good.
All right, Boise State has 40.81 meters to push. All of those still using Imperial units, that is exactly 44.63 yards. So, you know, they got to run 44 yards, but hey, if any good football team can do that, I'm sure the Broncos can.
Pretty sure anyone can. And you can't run 44 yards. We need to have a conversation.
You have a conversation. You're not making any touchdowns this season. Alrighty, that's how far Boise State has to push. Boise State ready with... I see the Roadhog now. Oh,
is it?
They faked me out. They're Doomfist? Doomfist!
Okay. Definitely going for... They're not even going for very aggressive because they have clear on the Widow. Which... I don't understand this team comp whatsoever. But okay, clear gets
Boise
first
State
blood.
understands it. Oh my goodness, look at that Doomfist!
He's gone. He's gone. And Clear immediately swaps over to the Reaper. Yep. Is this where we see the Doomfist swap?
No, we don't.
Oh, okay.
Boise State is
the cart, guys, the cart.
The behind you.
Guys, the cart.
Excuse me. Excuse you.
Maryland?
You know, I think you're going to have a kind of a problem that's going to materialize pretty soon here. Paul finally gets wise to that, but Boise State got half of their push just by one person running past Maryland and sitting on the cart.
I believe that was Clear who just got the teleport behind, but we were unable to see so. But trades coming out in favor of the Broncos. This might spill the end for Maryland. It seems that this final defense was just focused, even with the Dome Fist. The Dome Fist. All right. Ooh, nice grab, able to pull 3 of the Broncos, but once again, no follow-up means that's it.
I'm still not sure if Boise State was actually attacking that round, because Plato had just gone to the gas station and was just hitting them from behind. It looked like Boise State was still defending, in all honesty.
Yeah, that's one of the issues when defending on Route 66, especially all in that top train car. And finally, Broncos get the first play of the game. Oh, God, and Plato taking it over. Yeah, this beautiful railgun that just completely denied the push of Maryland means the Broncos will take it 2-1. Maryland definitely gave them a run for their money that they weren't expecting, but still able to maintain 7-2.
Alrighty, that's going to be the first game of the night won, but this isn't the only Overwatch game that we have. Up next is Toronto, the big match of the night that Boise State is looking to win. So Bodak has given them some, you can see him right behind us, giving them some key advice and prep words for the big match that they're going to have to do. We're going to take a quick break and then be back with the main event of the night for Overwatch, Boise State versus Toronto.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your Guard adventure.
We're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day. We're going to save families from disaster and feed those left in the cold. We invite you to join us. The next greatest generation is now.
Protecting your customer journey from fraud is critical. According to industry analysts, Count's AI-driven platform is the leading solution. From account login to digital payments, Count is recognized for both its customer impact and technology excellence. Learn more at count.com.
Why am I forgetful when I wanna play? Little memories from the years so far away. They've been locked where my sadness lays, in a garden that's like a tomb. It'll grow but just not for you. And if those thoughts do enter your head, they'll just come in fragments, never making sense enough to beget any big emotion, any sore regrets. They're just echoes. You'll hear echoes instead.
gentle, but I'm getting kinda mental. Cause every time I'm busy, yeah, your mood goes straight south. When I try to reassemble, and you're not feeling level, but I can't be the only one that's helping you out. I didn't apply to sacrifice all of myself to you. Oh, and all of my time was wasted trying to be there to get you through. Oh, I'm working the night shift, spending all of my time helping your mind
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight you're joining us for Boise State closing out their ABC Overwatch season. They started tonight at 6-2, now have 7-2, and now this will be the final match for them this regular season. They are going up against Toronto, which is the big opponent the Broncos were nervous with, so we'll see how they can do going up against a tough foe. My name is Jacob Palmer, joined by Brenner Ladd to call all the action for you tonight. And Brenner, Boise State was kind of expecting to just cruise through their match with Maryland, but that ended up going 2-1. So what does that mean going forward now that we're going up against Toronto?
It puts us in a very interesting situation because we were fearing Toronto because they beat Ohio State, who has beaten us in the past, and so they're looking to be a big opponent. But then they just lost their match to Washington, which is kind of like out of the blue of just like, Washington, really? So it's like, we should be scared of them, but they just lost, so it's kind of just out in the blue of what's going on. And it's really interesting going forward because, as you just mentioned, we struggled against Maryland that we thought was going to be a clean, like, 2 go next. But no, it was 1-1, then we barely scraped by after swapping out DPSs, and now starting out in Oasis, where Ilios we struggled with, so hopefully Oasis we do a little bit better, especially with Matt Merck showing that he's very good on the Winston, who is phenomenal on this map. So I think going into Toronto, they're definitely wary of the situation because Toronto having lost is definitely looking to recuperate that loss, whereas Broncos are just trying to secure that we are a top-place team and we should be feared, even though we lost a map to Maryland, which came as a surprise to everybody.
And we can see the lineup. It's going to be Clear, Plato, Matt Merck, Bagel, and Chosen. Lineup brought to you by Count. Count Identity Trust Global Network delivers real-time fraud prevention, account protection, and enables personalized customer experiences more than 9,000 leading brands and payment providers. Of course, if the Broncos want to do well against Toronto, then they are going to have the best advice available to them. That advice in the form of Doc's keys to the game tonight, which in Overwatch is brought to us by a Drop in Gaming, and those keys are going to be to understand your comp and play style, focus on each fight, get good ultimate value, and of course remember the objective is worth more than kills. Once again, brought to you by Drop in Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop in Gaming has the right games and competition for you. We're going to be ready to drop into this first stage. Oasis, 3 choices that we have on control. Which one are you hoping most to see first off?
Honestly, I like the map we're on of Library, if I'm remembering correctly.
But we're not going to get
Okay,
Library.
just forget what I said. We're going to Gardens. So, on Oasis, I mean, the Winston is still fantastic on this map, but I think starting off on this first map of Oasis rather than one of the other 2, it's going to be the old tradition of the Zarya I expect to come out here. I mean, we can already see the 2 traditional supports and a Sojourn. So it seems it's just debating, do you want to stick with the Reaper? Maybe go over to a Genji that works out very well on this map with how much ground he can cover much faster than the Reaper. It looks like Boise is in the red. And Matt Merck sticking to that Winston, but Clear is also sticking with the Reaper, whereas Toronto is going for the Genji route.
And I am not even going to try to pronounce that gamer tag that the Genji is having. I'm just going to say Genji, if that's all right with you.
He's just being lore-friendly for Genji.
Staying one step ahead, well, that guy is going to take out Clear as well as Dino, eliminating Matt Merck. So Boise State is going to find themselves down 1 in this first engagement. Plato is trying to fight back. He is able to take out Versos. Argency is able to eliminate Plato. So still some fighting back and forth. Boise State finding themselves down. Bagel making the key play, getting rid of Dino.
They still haven't even capped the point. Broncos do not want to give it up, and it seems they were able to switch it off. Huge props to Bagel there, just being able to stall him out for as long as he did. Seems Toronto is still going to decide to try to push out with Genji and Zarya out in the front, but Zarya falling down to half health. And with Matt Merck holding the front line with the side of Clear means taking down the front line tank means they can just keep pushing forward into their spawn.
This Reaper is having way too much fun. He is allowing to get so much in the face of Toronto with hardly being contested at all. Boise State now moving past 25%, has some support ultimates to their name. Toronto is also going to have theirs charged up shortly, so this should be an interesting one.
Ooh, the Rico ult comes out for the Broncos. Toronto will have to use the sound barrier to answer it, but the Genji still does fall, as well as the Sojourn. Seems that will be a wipe for Toronto and a clear reset, as there's the team kill.
And really, yeah, this is going, you know, a lot smoother than even happened against Maryland, too.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Maryland, if you remember in control, Boise State, one of the stages they won, they had to bring it back from 99-0.
Yeah.
So
Maybe that's the case for Toronto here as they pull out their own Kasune ultimate. They also have the Dragon Blade and Railgun and Graviton Surge coming online, but Plato's going to pull out his Railgun first to try to deny that push. Allow them to get up to 75 as Matt Merck gets the first elimination, followed by Plato. That's both the Sojourn down. That's 4 down. There's 5. Good Ooh. I was going to say good restraint for Toronto, but they did use that Graviton Surge that they definitely did not need. Seems they want to try to debate them into the Death Blossom of Clear.
I see a Roadhog meme brought out from Versos.
Is it a meme, though?
Is it? Toronto just has to get to the point before they even think about memeing, but right now I think Clear's just going to take advantage of that desperation, pop the Death Blossom right in their face, able to take out the Kariko. This Genji Blade is coming out. He's going to have to wait a way to get away from that one. Now that Clear is back, ready to rumble. He has taken them out one by one. Madberg gets a triple with that Primal Rage. And an emote to end it all. Boise State's been confident.
That is something we have rarely ever seen, is the Primal Rage triple of all things. I mean, especially coming out from a Winston, so huge props to his teammates allowing him to get those kills. But as we take a look back on this beautiful sneaky Death Blossom, he's able to at least pick up one and help finish off both the Roadhog and the Genji. Genji's at least tried to even things out. Both Karikos did go down, but Roadhog was not able to out-sustain the Primal Rage Monkey of Map Merc, so they will take map 1, heading over to map 2, possibly the end. It is the horse. We love seeing the Orisa.
No shields left, but plenty of javelins available.
Yep. Ooh, the Ash as well.
Okay.
We love it. Toronto's bringing out all the variety, showing Boise State how it's done, even though they lost the prior match.
Well, they have the victory in our hearts for giving us a bit of the spice of life, if you will.
Oh, 100%. We might see everyone's favorite hero in Overwatch, Bob. Fingers crossed we can get the double giant robot on the side of Toronto. But
oh, and the Dynamite already taking out Chosen.
Ash getting big value here. Ooh, Javelin as well. Matt Merck falling down to 100 HP. Will get slowly healed up as the Ash gets taken down by Sojourn. 7 health! Ardency wins it with a simple melee. Finally, Toronto wins the first team match and actually secures the point.
Versos already well on their way to that first ultimate, and this Kariko ultimate is charging up pretty fast as well. Gonna make it past 80%, if not for this team fight, then definitely the next. Plato gets hit with that Javelin and knocked back a bit. Boise State makes their way to take back the point.
Yeah, Matt Merck back on the Zarya, needs to match the DPS coming out from the Orisa. And that beam will do it. He gets a ton of charge off it. Clear now also back on the Reaper. With 3 going down, that's going to be the team kill there and the retake of the point. Toronto got up to 30% and got the Katsune online, but the Orisa's gone, everybody. We lost her.
Back to what we know.
We still got the Ash. We still got the Ash.
We still have an opportunity to see Bob. There goes the Railgun from Boise State. Picks up 1. Can they pick up 2? Trying to put some more damage on, and that's going to wear out. 1 final Railgun shot, and now it's back to left-clicking for Plato. Argency eliminates Matt Merck. So overall, we've had a 1-for-1 trade this engagement.
Zarya still continues, but more beautiful Death Blossom coming out from Clear. Able to pick up Dino, but the Zarya is still in the back line, able to pick up Plato, so that's 1-for-1 as Ardency will even that out. Now going down himself.
I mean, not only that, not only do you get the Death Blossom in 1 pick, but you manage to make them expend their sound barrier as well, which Ardency used. And Boise State still maintains control of the points, so on all sides, ult economy, picks, objective, job well done.
Boise State also having the ult advantage, not for long as Graviton Surge coming online for Toronto. Boise State waiting for their opportunity. Can't go for another cheeky. Instead, just going to go straight for the backline. Picks up 3. Only able to bubble 1, but they're able to out-sustain and take down both DPS. Now
Matt
Baker's
Merck's
down
in
as
trouble.
well.
Oh, that was a collapse if I have ever seen. That was the Graviton Surge gone wrong. There was no follow-up for that whatsoever.
Had a great start, but Toronto just had a beautiful communication and target prioritization of both DPS went down like that. So Boise had no follow-up, and just like that, they lost the fight and the point, able to at least get up to 79%. So now Toronto's going to try with their own grab, but Plato's able to at least take down Ardency, and the Sound Barrier is able to keep them alive as clear. He's able to take down the Genji, swapping off the Ashe. Sadly, no Bob in sight.
In fact, I don't think any one of the Broncos got caught out by that Graviton Surge. I didn't see anyone stuck.
No, they flipped that fight very quickly with Matt Merck back on the Winston, doing work. Clear wants to build it up, but he's scouted out on the flank by the Genji, so he's going to have to back up real quick. But does have Death Blossom online for this final stall, falling down to 30.
Oh, he does it again.
Kazune!
Another juicy Death Blossom, and that does it for Boise State. Team wiping Toronto, and they win the first round. And this was such a good flank here. I mean, he didn't get the kill, but he completely threw off their Genji, who couldn't use the Dragon Blade. Was kept for it until the very end, and then he just Death Blossomed all of them.
Yep. Absolutely beautiful. Also, Toronto,
and he gets credited with the Death Blossom for once.
Exactly. It was not Zarya just beaming alongside. Also, huge props for Toronto, even swapping off the Soldier in the last second, trying to get to point in time. Changing things up has definitely hurt them not being able to get there in time, but we're off to hybrid. This might be the Broncos 2-0 of the night that they were hoping for, but wrong opponent.
They were hoping for a 2-0 last round, too, and it didn't work out for them. And judging it by being hybrid and the same stage being chosen most of the time, if it is, in fact, Kings Row, then Boise State is going to have to find a bit of redemption.
Yeah, I expect Toronto to definitely pick the map they are most comfortable with. We're not to push yet, so they can't have home turf. So it'll probably be Kings Row.
Probably will be.
If we could get a little bit of variety, I would gladly take Eichenwald or Hollywood, which would surprise, I assure everyone. But all smiles on stage after a very solid win. Huge props to clear off those beautiful Death Blossoms, showing Gob how it's done. It's all fun and games. But heading into second match, Toronto, having just lost to Washington, definitely is looking for a win here. Because they struggled against Washington from what I heard, because they did go all 3 matches. So they're definitely feeling the...
They would have to go all 3 matches again this time to beat Boise State. And Okay, production has just said, guess what? Oh, it's Kings Row. Thank you.
No one would have guessed that.
No one would have guessed. Yeah, it is Kings Row. What we are all used to, and hey, at least from this angle, you can't tell the time of day has changed at all. So that's good, and oh no.
We miss you. Never thought you'd say you miss Kings Row, but...
Yeah. I mean, if they're going to make a day, why can't they at least make it, like, themed to British weather and make it cloudy or rainy or, you know, give some ambiance to it?
Rain going on during it would be pretty awesome.
That would be nice. And very, you know, again, very flavorful. But
Overwatch flavorful?
But at this point, apparently at this point in the future, Britain is known for sunny skies, which I never thought I'd say. I can't wait till we get a Seattle map and it's just sun all over the place, because that's just how Overwatch 2 works. It takes what you expect it to be and then just changes the time of day and weather.
We're going to go visit the giant dunes of Seattle, as we all know and love. I'm definitely not from that area or anything. They're just going to go completely sideways with it and confuse everybody. It'll be great.
All right, so as we get into Kings Row, both these teams are waiting to load in. And Boise State wanting to make sure that this doesn't go in the same direction it did against Maryland. I think the main thing was that Boise State is going to have to keep in mind for this match is even if they take the first point rather quickly, they can't get lazy from there, because that's what had tripped them up last time.
For sure.
They took the first fight, said, hey, we got this. Turned out they didn't got it.
Yep. We already are seeing the Winston as well, so I would assume it's Boise in the blue, because we have not seen Toronto bring out the Winston of their own. She would love to still see that Orisa return, but can they pull it off against Matt Merck on the Winston, who has been, to say the least, a major threat after getting his very own triple off that Primal Rage, which is absolutely beautiful to watch. No, they're bringing their own Winston. Saw from this little, yep, we got a monkey battle. And a Widow. All right. Toronto's kicking things off on the attack. Clear still cheeky hiding, but guns were scouted out around by Lucio, so you will have to go on the retreat team in time and survive. That's Wraithform down though. Both Winstons jumping into the back line. Huge DPS. Reaper falling below half. Both Reapers below half, but Plato will get first blood.
Railguns coming in clutch for both teams. It's a 1-for-1 trade.
Ooh.
Dino now picking up a double. Dino's down to half health, but is still managing to hang in there. Good for Argency with the help of Dino, takes out Matt Merck, and first point taken pretty quickly for Toronto.
Yeah, it seems the Winston battle went their way, and Dino just simply was able to outperform Plato there. So, able to get second pip. Will they yield the contest? They go for it. Broncos looking to just buy that much more time, but the Reaper is eating Matt Merck alive right now. He knows his target prioritization, so he will have to jump out of there. But it's just Winston chasing after Winston. Plato's finally able to take down Reaper, which means Matt Merck has a little bit of breathing room, but not that much, as he only has 12 HP. Will finally fall down on monkey violence, but their own Winston is making huge plays and staying in this fight. Even gets Primal Rage off.
But it's only onto Plato. And he just tosses the molly right onto him. Okay, I like it. I mean, hey, it's enough time bought for Boise that they managed to keep the payload from coming out.
Yeah, they just stalled just enough where they finally had to reset. Plug did not have the health remaining, but they have the Kasune to follow up after the regroup. Bagel will have to bring out the sound barrier as well as Toronto's own sound barrier. A bit early used, I might add, as the railgun comes out from Plato. Death Blossom and Primal Rage still available for the Broncos, but now Dino's going to bring out their own railgun as Matt Merck takes down the Reaper. Now Argency is down.
Plato
cleaning them up.
And we're down to about a minute and a half. I mean, 1 minute 45, but closing in on a minute and a half, and Boise State still holding strong. And this is where Clear thrives. Like when he pressures them for time, so they have to run to the point, and he just waits for them all to pass.
Toronto should definitely be looking out for it. Monkey does not scout it out.
He doesn't see it.
Oh, there's a point. Even with the bubble to protect him, only picks up the one, but with the help of Plato gets another. Reaper with the Wraithform has about 5 HP. Will get taken down in a single Kiri from Kariko.
That is one lonely gorilla.
He gets staggered out even more. This is all the time in the world that the Broncos want to burn away from the Canadians. So, Primal Rage online for both Winstons. Death Blossom close behind for Toronto. Both Kasunes at 75%. I think Toronto definitely wants to build up this Death Blossom. Winston just eating a ton of free damage right now, Matt Merck. Ooh, will take a railgun shot to the face, dropping him below 100.
And the Reaper getting a pick onto Chosen, but both Primal Rages are out. We said it's going to make their way back onto the point. Mad Merc has the health for it. He's trying to stall this out. I don't know if he can take them all on. He manages to get one with a melee, and Boise State just barely hanging in there. 15 seconds left. Oh. Yeah, but it was a valiant effort. I give it to them.
Yeah, Matt Merck being the sole survivor, having to just go indoors to deny some of the heavy DPS going his way, means that they were able to cap the point. And they're back up to 2:30 on the board.
Or 4 minutes when you factor in the exchange rate.
We don't talk about that. But now it's up to the Broncos to try to hold them at the archway with Railgun online, whereas Toronto has 4.
But one key, I mean, no, okay, that isn't going to be the key. Oh, wow, Toronto's not stopping at all. Clear is able to trade for 1. So I just have to go that Reaper battle. He's going to go back to try to get health, and oh my goodness, the target prioritization is savage from Toronto.
Yeah, Broncos just need to accept this reset here. As Plato just tries to get a little bit of poke, having lost his railgun fire, only fired maybe 1 or 2 shots before he was swiftly eliminated by Plug on the Winston from Toronto. They still have the railgun fire and sound barrier to counteract the Death Blossom that Clear has been saving up. Primal Rage close to coming online for both Winstons. Mammoth just a hair behind. Scouted out of where they're grouping up. The Kiriko all by herself as well. Cart is about to get the checkpoint. They have to go for the down at the last minute here. Sandberry coming out very early on, as well as the Primal Rage. Plato's able to get the first pick.
Ooh, and they're not even on the court right now. There's just one. He takes them out without even having to use the Death Blossom. He might have to use it here, though. This is the last minute. Yep, he does it.
Bubbles down. Doesn't get either, but
oh, they're so close. They have to go off the point.
Kiriko's still alive.
Gets
Can't
one.
The Reaper for much more. Winston's still staying in the fight with the Kiriko right now.
Sound barrier crucial for Broncos.
They need to take down either this Kiriko or the Winston. Lucio's alive as well. Double healers and tank. He's just able to out-sustain all of the DPS from the Broncos right now. 30 seconds remaining. This is time that Toronto cannot afford. They need to secure this final point because Sune comes out for the Broncos, finally pushing them off.
Jumps away in Boise State. Once that Winston is out of the way, they're able to take out Argency. They got Primal Rage, gonna head back toward the point, push the Winston off again.
Keep him out of there.
Oh, clutch Death Blossom from Toronto. Do they? Oh, they just barely get it.
Broncos held on for so long. Once again, getting to overtime and just barely losing it out. Death Blossom definitely saved Toronto in this fight. So now, with all of it being the indoors fight, Plato's once again the only one with an ultimate on his squad of the Railgun Fire, but he's going to have to be ready to deal with the counter Railgun and Primal Rage as it comes out. Primal Rage in the backline going immediately in on Plato. Knows his top prioritization here, but he's falling very low. And a single Railgun shot will take him down.
Now he brings out the Railgun with no tank to block it. Throws out the Molly. Trying to get some chip damage, and that's a right click you want to see.
Able to pick up one, falls down to 14. Is finally able to heal back up, so Broncos sustained, but Cart did get halfway.
It's all going to come down to just one more team fight. This is the one that decides it, and in terms of ultimates, Boise State is a bit closer.
Have the
with a stagger like that too.
This is definitely
huge.
The leg up they need right now. But with only the support ultimates being close, Clear's getting closer to that Death Blossom, which could be the game changer. It's just going to be up to Toronto to keep their Winston alive as he falls below half health, finally gets up to full health and jumps onto the card, so he's contesting, pulling the Broncos back. But Plato falling so very low. Clear gets the elimination, might spell doom. They just need a contest. They can only poke for so long. Clear's looking for the death block. So very low. But a emergency time sound barrier coming out from Ardency will keep the team alive. Now the Katsune coming out, but Plato is able to deny at least one member surviving for much longer.
That is going to do it. They just outlast sound barrier. That is Toronto kept to just 2 points in attack. That is huge.
Broncos struggling whenever it came to those last bit checkpoint matches, but Toronto's able to just barely edge him out and get to it. So they got halfway on that second checkpoint, but it's up to the Broncos to beat him and not be in overtime.
Well, the point is that this can't possibly go to overtime now, since they denied Toronto the 3 points. It's winnable right here and there for Broncos. which is something we don't often see on Kings Row.
I
Kings
know.
Row favors itself toward overtime.
So can they get to that checkpoint and halfway? But also, can they win the first team fight and get the control point faster than when Maryland did? Broncos were able to saw out Maryland for a little bit. Not as long as they definitely would like, but still came down to that final fight. So, and Toronto replicated. It seems Winston might be taking the place of Zarya right now because the damage output between. Do you see what I see?
I see a Roadhog.
That's
But
right.
they might be teasing us. They've done it before.
I think they might be thinking that they can beat Plug in the straight 1v1, and it helps with the anti-Reaper because that Reaper was eating Matt Mark alive. As the teleport even comes out, not scouted out by Clear on the Widow, hopefully.
All right,
be a
we
cheap
are indeed
flank.
going to see a Roadhog. Problem
Looking to
is,
the right. Oh, he did see the silhouette. Oh, beautiful!
oh,
Oh, gets beautiful as well with the beautiful right hook.
another hook, and that
And Clear
Winston is
swapped over to
gone.
Tracer. This was something Toronto was not ready for. Oh, just
Hook
short.
misses, but you know, this
That's
point,
first fight.
yeah, that is huge. Boise State is going to have such a huge time
Swapping
bank.
over to the Genji, no supports means that's first fight won and point taken. This is a Roadhog. Both teams just went Roadhog. Nope. The Orisa, baby. Let's go. Forget shielding your team. You just need DPS and health. The real question is, are the Broncos cheeky enough to go for the Orisa ult symmetric teleport onto the enemy team? That's the real question. Could they pull it off?
Even if they're not, I see one member of Toronto, this Roadhog is trying to flank, and he's gone out immediately. Get out of my lawn. Boise State mows him down.
Yes, we love the horse. Rich Rad has a smile from ear to ear, if you were here. Ryan, unintentional, but I'll take it. Huge distance taken right now. Even two people on cart to just capitalize on that distance right now. 5 minutes for
There's-
the Broncos timer.
There's Matt Merkel live having fun on that Orisa. He's not going to be the only one having fun for the Broncos because they have two ultimates. Plato having this railgun and the Kariko also ready.
Full hog online. And Toronto have their own flashy Roadhog plays. Kafune comes out. But no real pressure behind it except for the railgun from Plato. Clear gets eliminated though. Nice hook. Coming out from Plug. Both DPS down for the Broncos, but it seems that they still want to try to sustain. Instead, they just will give up all the space. Go for the regroup. I think they have a little bit of time to give up here.
They do. Oh, well, that's going to be a little bit more time they have to wait because
Oh!
another hook. Maybe Matt Merck swapped off the hog too fast because with
Maybe.
him gone, Versos is putting some steady staggers onto the Broncos.
Clear now even bringing out
Cassidy. Wow. It's been a while since we've seen him. No stun, just a grenade that does more damage. But you know what? It's like you said with the Orisa. Who needs anything when you have DPS? More DPS.
Oh, nice javelin onto the Karigo in the backline, but did not scatter the Roadhog in the backline. Instead, ults on point and picks up one, but the whole hog in the backline will trade out. Both soldiers are down. One support for each, but Broncos still have both of theirs with the Katsune, and that's the checkpoint.
For as good as Versos's hooks have been, I almost wonder if he's putting too much faith in them because
Yep.
it almost looks like consistently he's going for a flank hog approach, which is something that lends itself better for when there were two tanks. But if you're the main front line, then going flank is a risky
Definitely
proposition.
missing Overwatch 1 right now, but Broncos are closing the gap right now, which means Toronto needs to close this gap with the Dragon Blade and Sound Barrier. No one's even contesting. Just go for the play, and they don't even touch it.
Oh man, and Boise
Smile and
State
wave.
wins it
Smile and
2-0. Wow, and Bagel's gonna get the play of the game, support play of the game as Lucio.
We love to see it, even in the final moments of the first round. Solid assist on every kill possible, thanks to the healing, so.
Well, the match Boise State was most nervous about, they ended up sweeping. It was the Maryland match that gave them the most trouble. Funny how stuff like that can work out, but congrats to the Broncos for winning their match against University of Toronto. Win for the Broncos, a positive end for their ABC season, and set themselves up pretty well now, finishing the season with 8-2.
Yeah.
They're going to be going into the playoffs, you know, with some good expectations, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely a force to be reckoned with here. And I think they have to be very happy about it. It seems the swap off Goblin to Plato definitely helped in strides. Matt Merck swapping off the Zarya also did phenomenally. And I definitely huge highlight on the Winston play of teammates or opponents recognizing it and trying to pull it off themselves. And we got some interesting Winston battles in Overwatch 2 that we almost never get to see. Even I believe we saw every tank but the Reinhardt in this ABC 2 game, so I'll take the variety. It was fun.
Yeah, we had a fun time. Now, you kind of already hinted toward it since you were mentioning everyone on the team, but we got to give our picks for the player of the game.
I mean, gotta love Bagel getting play of the game.
Sure.
We love seeing any support, of course. I gotta give it to Matt Merck. I think either Matt Merck or Plato. I think the swap onto Plato from Gob definitely helped the Bronco push forward.
Oh yeah, clear on Reaper.
This, it was beautiful.
It was absolute. He destroyed Toronto's hopes and dreams so many times with the Death Blossom, or just using the shotguns.
He was consistent on this Reaper again and again and again. Never needed to swap off of it until the very end where we saw the Cassidy come out. But obviously, it's going to be Plato followed up, and the last one would have to be Matt Merck.
You would think, but they might give it a Bagel.
Could be Bagel, but with how strong Matt Merck was in the front line.
Oh, yeah.
It seems Overwatch 2 will consistently be tank and buff DPS.
Yeah, that is the name of the game. It sure appears so. And this was a great primal rage by Matt Merck. We were focusing so much on clear on the Reaper, but Matt Merck just,
and that's
slyly
what they
got
off of.
Yeah, so who? Are you still going to go with? Who are you going with?
I would go with Matt Merck.
Okay, if you're going with Matt Merck, I'll go with Clear.
I think that's a fair bet. Those Reaper Death Blossoms were peak, especially since he got so many sneaky ones off that finally the team's wised up to it a little bit.
Hey!
There you go. You get your wish.
Clear is going to be the player of the game. Again, such great performance. Well, of course, great performance on the Sojourn. It's Sojourn, but you need a lot. But you also need a lot of skill to land those railgun shots, and he was great at that. And also just had some intense Death Blossoms right in Toronto's face. He's going to be the player of the game, brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like how Idaho Central helps its members achieve a financial success. Clear is going to be your ICCU player of the game. One final play, and not even needing the Death Blossom here, just chasing everybody down, doing work as a DPS should. And an all-around great victory for the Broncos. Well, do you have any final thoughts before we close out Overwatch for the night?
I definitely want to praise how well Boise was able to adapt and overcome the trials and tribulations of the first match and come back with a clean 2-0 victory against Toronto, an opponent that was kind of a mystery. So they came out of it on top, and I hope to see it continue in the rest of the Overwatch we have in the coming week.
Well, we'll leave you with the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. We'll be back after this break with some Rocket League action. You're not going to want to miss that. But for now, enjoy your top 5 plays of the game.
Able to pick up Dino, but the Zarya is still in the back line, able to pick up Plato, so that's 1-for-1 as RC will even that out. Now going down himself.
I mean, not only that, not only do you get the Death Blossom in one pick, but you manage to make them expend.
Perfectly timed sound barrier coming out from RNC will keep the team alive. Now the Katsune coming out, but Plato is able to deny at least one member surviving for much longer.
That is going to do it. They just outlast sound barrier. That is Toronto kept to just 2 points in attack. That is huge.
Continues push forward. A beautiful Death Blossom coming out from Clear. Able to pick up Dino, but the Zarya is still in the back line, able to pick up Plato, so that's 1-for-1 as RNC will even that out. Now going down himself.
I mean, not only that, not only do you get the Death Blossom in one pick, but you manage to make them expend.
Early use, I might add, as the Railgun comes out from Plato. Death Blossom and Primal Rage still available for the Broncos, but now Dino's going to bring out their own Railgun as Matt Merck takes down the Reaper. Now RNC is down.
Plato
cleaning them up.
Think about meaning, but right now I think Claire's just going to take advantage of that desperation, pop the Death Blossom right in their face, able to take out the Fariko. This Genji Blade is coming out. He's going to have to rate a way to get away from that one. Now that Clear is back, ready to rumble, he has taken them out one by one. Matt Burke gets a triple with
to fight? Is a world that's mine. Need a place to hide. Will you free my mind? Following the light of a world that's blind. In your eyes I see there's a place for me. All I seek to fight is a world that's mine. Need a place to hide. Will you free my mind? Following the light of a world that's blind. In your eyes I see there's a place for me. You can find me waiting in the dark. Hide away my spark for the world to see. You can find me holding back my heart. You can't hurt me anymore. I'm free.
Hello, welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena, located here in beautiful downtown Boise, where we have an exciting CRL or Collegiate Rocket League matchup for you tonight, where UNLV is looking to keep their undefeated record, really keep that #1 spot. On the other hand, though, we have Boise State that is contending for the #1 spot and putting some real pressure there. It's an exciting matchup that we have tonight here. But as always, hello again. I'm your host, Colin Junkin, and joining me on desk is Brandon Bear. And, we have a good little matchup for it tonight. We have a lot of tensions in the arena. As a former player yourself, you've probably been put in a situation or two where you've felt the tension a little bit.
Especially where the prior team was not able to get to this position. So now you're in brand new territory. And so it's definitely a huge undertaking. And you're fighting the only team to maintain undefeated stat this entire season. And so you're fighting for first place at this point. And so it's like everyone's just coming here is like, can they do it? We're about to find out. I mean, the predictions we had here on desk was 3-1 to somebody. It wasn't team specific, but it's just going to go 3-1 because this is only a best of 5. Where a lot of these bigger Rocket League matches are best of 7s, cutting it down, so a bit more on the wire.
Yep. And with UNLV being a stronger team as well, having our history of playing CC as well, in the very first game of the CRL in week 1, we lost to them in a 3-0. But then UNLV just Wednesday 3-0'd them. So it sort of put a lot of contention of CC and UNLV are always those teams that were head-to-head of always being, CC's #1, UNLV's #2. But it sort of puts a little bit of everyone on a spin of like, whoa, where are we going here? But, as we were talking about before, Collegiate Rocket League, CRL, is a 3v3 soccer format. Best of 5, single elimination, and a 16-team round robin. So both these teams are on their final game of week 5, and this is what we really mean of it determines who's going to take that 1 spot. But to help our players take that #1 spot, they need to pay attention to Doc's keys of the game. In Rocket League, it is to create mistakes, punish a double commit, don't overstay your welcome, bump opponents to disrupt, create a little demo, create a little chaos. And Doc's keys of the game are brought to us by Drop-In Gaming. Drop-In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and pay entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. To begin your competitive journey, go ahead and sign up at dropingaming.com. Wow. And sort of looking at this beautiful matchup graphic, we're reminded of our matchup of Boise State versus UNLV, and probably heading quickly into this match. It's the real stakes of who takes #1, or is Boise State going to go down to #3?
Jumping right into it already with, I believe, the 50-50 went in the favor of UNLV, who is in the orange. But it's a battle for the 50-50 right now, where the pressure's already being applied. A nice shot coming out from Wells, but will be denied by Gill, I believe that was. So now Boise State is able to get on the offensive, but after Wallace is able to get the demo onto Gill, Durthu's just going to try to maintain the ball on their side, but instead Durthu gets demoed back-to-back already. UNLV is out for blood.
Instinct now at the 50. Send it over to Tubb. Tubb's just going to send it right back over the wall. Tubb's still sticking on the ball. Wallace is going to get a demo on Gill. Going to a little bit disrupt in the Boise State defense. And he's going to try and play it around to the pass out to Durthu mid, but it's just a bit outside. And UNLV is going to stay alive with this 0-0 score.
And just a hair high and left as they're trying to recenter the ball, but Tubb is able to deny that recenter. So now it looks like Gill's going to try to go off the wall, but it's denied by Wallace. And now Instinct finally brings out their own demo. Seems like it's going to be a very demo-heavy match, as we've already seen 4 so far within the first minute 15. But Boise's able to get the ball back onto UNLV's side, but with a huge aerial play, Gill just barely missing it, saved off the back of Instinct there.
Oh, that could be dangerous. Gill's a little awkward, but he's going to put a little backflip in it. Tubb going to go and play a little bit of shadow, getting that full boost, goes to 50. Durthu's going to get the clear. All right, but Garen's up for the ball, looking for a second touch. Instinct with the 50 down. Awkward position. Tubb's going to take a shot, just go a bit wide. A lot of pressure on the side of Boise State being created by UNLV as the ball just sent right back around, and we're forced to play defense once again.
Yeah, UNLV has just been non-stop aggression, great passes, and a couple shots on goal, but none have landed so far because Boise State defense has been there non-stop as Durthu comes flying in and barely denies that. Instinct is able to deny the aerial Runs back. Trying to set up for a pass for himself. Boise State needs to clear this ball off their side of the field because they are hurting for boost right now.
Sent out mid. Garen taking a shot. It's going to be a little bit wide. Gil taking possession on the wall. Looking for a 50, looking for a second one. It's going to be cleared by Tuv, though. Instinct now off the wall. Gets first touch. Looking to get a pass out mid to a teammate. The 50 might be a little awkward. Durtho now on the ball. Playing off the ceiling. Wale still sticking with the ball, but Gil's going to get a good clear. Tuv's just going to be right back there to contest.
Bronco struggling to get the ball past his mid marker as Gil finally, he will get demoed by Wallace once again. Durtho tries to bounce it off the wall and pass it to his teammate. Does not make it, is intercepted by Wallace. Still trying to clear the ball at the corner, but he is able to kick it right back. If a teammate was there, they could have scored it, but they were rotating, getting boost as the management has just been non-stop aggression. Finally, the Broncos are able to clear it over to UNLV side. Let's just see how long they can maintain it there. The ball is back in the center.
Durtho looking for a pass out. Instinct isn't going to find any success with it. Durtho's going to miss the touch off the ceiling. Gil trying to get it around Wallace, doesn't get it. In a little bit of a danger zone. Tough shot. Durtho the save. An amazing sequence.
Yeah, Boise State defense playing out of this world right now, trying to set up for the shot, but with double defender, Durtho came flying in, unable to make it. But Boise State having no boost whatsoever to get back to defending time might cost them as Durtho runs the interception, and the 50-50 double commit on the ball means that UNLV will get the first goal of the game with only a minute remaining in this first round.
That is so detrimental. Just finding this A-B touch of an angle that just barely enough to get around Gil, and that's all it really takes some time. And it's a little demoralizing when the other team, when you put so much work in, the other team gets the first goal, but it's really up to Boise State to keep heading the game and retaliate really with another one.
Yeah, they need to get some more demos onto Wallace. Just looking at the accolades and shots alone, this has definitely been UNLV's star player right now after Garen getting that first goal. I think the demos were definitely working in their favor and helping them play a bit more aggressive, trying to clear the ball in mid, but Wallace landing on instinct in the back lane, denying the defense. Now Durtho's going down as well. That's the whole Broncos wiped.
Just got a team kill on Ace in Rocket League, but putting the ball in the backboard.
There it is.
With absolutely no boost on the backboard. Ain is not able to make a touch to save the ball.
I would say UNLV's playing dirty, but it's how Rocket League is played. Those demos working out in strides for them right now. Definitely the aggression that the Broncos are seemingly not used to, just getting taken down all across the board.
Gil now the touch. Tuv in the air, stopping the ball before it gets to the backboard. Now making a bicycle kick. With about 20 seconds left to play, the Broncos retaliating with their first demo.
Ooh, tried to go for the aerial shot, quickly denied though. Gil tries to clear the ball, will win 50-50 over Garen, but Wallace is there with the backup. 7 seconds remaining. Broncos might just have to put it down and go next. Maybe try to score at least one goal for Morals, but ooh, Gil barely keeps the ball in play. UNLV might even try to score a goal, but finally, Durtho will put it down.
A very good first matchup, honestly. Going 4 minutes without seeing a goal, just going back to back, and kind of just looking at the stat sheet, we do see a lot of the total shots on the side of UNLV, which is sort of how this is going to be. There was, you know, we don't really need a statistic to tell us that there was a lot of side control on the side of UNLV. They had a ton of pressure towards Boise State, and sort of recovering now in a best of five where you have one less game. You have that. You really have to kind of put it into pressing W key on that gas pedal now before the game really gets away from you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best of five. A lot of these matches, as we touched on, best of seven, you don't have that leeway anymore. It's kind of win either one of the first two games or you're in 3-0 territory, which is something we didn't predict on this desk.
No.
That's not what we want. We want to see it go the distance, and the Broncos can definitely do that. And with how strong their defense was, the pressure was on, especially in that first match. UNLV looking very good, and I think it's going to be the Broncos keeping a head on a swivel because those demos were coming out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. Wally's just from the back line, quite literally just going 1, 2, 3, and the entire team was gone with no boost to do anything about a little floater in their net.
Yeah.
You know,
it's brutal.
Do the Broncos take one out of their playbook?
I mean, sometimes that aggression might pay off for them, but already changing up the game because 4 seconds in, rather than 4 minutes, that's the goal.
Tuv knowing exactly what to do after getting this 50-50 on the sidewall, disrupting the defender and net, just getting those bumps. Not a demo, but just enough to annoy Instinct and get the ball. Free little open net.
Yeah, so 50-50 goes on the side of UNLV. Darthu there with the defense, but Wallace is out looking for blood here. He almost had the shot, just a hair too late to get to the ball and falling. So now Broncos finally able to try to clear it, but denied once again. Garrett tries to go for the shot, but it's just too wide.
UNLV has been extremely annoying with just these bumps and demos. But Instinct getting it over one. Tuv, the last defender. This could be it. Trying to fake it out. Dirt though!
Hey. First goal for the Broncos in this best of 5. Great double commit because the defenders were not set up in time. So we'll get the first, hopefully of many.
Hopefully of many, yes. And with 4 minutes and 23 seconds left, and accolades on a lot of side. Wallace is up, trying to find it. Doesn't get the double touch. Instinct's gonna go for the counter. The demo from Gil. Not a little boost on Instinct side.
Back to back.
Instinct following this ball up was not what I expected at all, but making it happen with absolutely no defense in the net for the side of UNLV. Letting the Broncos go up 2-1 and very early in the game.
We went from having no goals for 4 minutes to 3 goals in the first minute. So it is come alive. Broncos now realizing all is on the line. So trying to secure this 2 lead as the ball is cleared over to their side. Immediately full retreat as Darthu is able to take down Tuv. Clears the ball again, tries to bounce it off the back with Tuv taking a shot, goes a hair wide off the sidebar.
Wallace keeping it in, getting the 50 off of Gil, sending over to the side of UNLV. Darthu off the ceiling, trying to make a touch, gets the 50 with Tuv, sending it back out of mid. Instinct off the sidewall, Gil's next to follow up.
Hey! 3 back-to-back goals. Also, one from every team member of the Broncos, no less. I mean, showing UNLV how it's done right now. Coming back with a vengeance.
Still a lot of game left to play, and the Broncos cannot get sort of lazy in their play style, which I don't think they're going to do at all. Wallace felt like an open goal there for a second before Gil got that
stop. Almost. Broncos like to cut it close as the ball's just hovering by that right goalpost. Finally will get cleared after 2 shots coming out. Darthu just barely running out of boost there, having to pick up the side pad just to keep up. Demo back to back, trading out here. Broncos on defense, a nice setup, but Tuv is unable to get there in time. Neither is Wallace. Gil with the defense here. Darthu goes up high, able to clear it.
Instinct with the follow-up off the corner while Wallace from the ceiling, getting 1 touch and done, sending out the Instinct.
Whoa!
Instinct has a beat.
Is that it? The long shot. Coming out from Instinct.
The pass from Gil from the touch from Wallace there was just absolutely perfect. Setting up Gil with this bang that Tuv had no way to predict that it had that speed or kind of angle on the goal.
Yeah, so Broncos in a 3-goal lead with 2:30 on the clock remaining is looking good. They just cannot give up on this all-out defense right now. And the continued demos have been clearly working in their favor, taking UNLV's strategy against them.
4-1 with about 2 minutes, 20 seconds left. Garen's up, might have the touchdown. No second from Garen, and the ball's gonna be cleared by Darthu. Tuv's gonna get a shot off. The pass from Gil to Darthu off the ceiling. Whoa. Not gonna find it. As they're looking to recenter this ball, then
the aggression is working. Keeping the ball, having the side control has definitely been working out in the Broncos' favor in keeping UNLV on their toes as Gil's nice with the denial of that pass. Goes for a shot, is denied by Tuv. Instinct tries to once again set it up in the mid. A shot coming out from Gil. denied by Walls. Nice save. But it comes flying in, just goes too wide. The 50-50 to stay close to the wall. Now the demo coming out. This is UNLV's chance to go for the goal. Zdurthu is able to knock it up at the last second.
Not a lot of defense back on the side of UNLV as AC is going to follow up, trying to get a pass off the backboard. Does get it. Zdurthu, the shot is going to find it. The follow-up from Boise State and the mental toughness is admirable.
They gave him that first early round as fool's errand. But Broncos coming back with a vengeance, and with a minute 20 remaining, things are not looking good for UNLV. Might bring us to 1-1 unless some amazing shots on goal are going to come out non-stop. Another shot on goal coming out from Durtho. Being denied by Wallace, UNLV's seemingly star player so far, as he scores their second goal.
There's the second, and the first in quite a while, and about 5 goals from Boise State for UNLV. With about a minute left, it's very doable. It is extremely doable, especially for Rocket League. Such a fast-paced game, and the way these players play, they can find opportunities in the darkest of moments. So never count any team really out. The trades.
Back to back, but an open goal means that the such commanding lead that the Broncos have is closing very quickly.
Just like that, 6 seconds is all it took. A kickoff goal is also very agitating as well.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you can't do much about it, and it's how they're going to clear this ball on the opposite side's going at it.
Finally, the Broncos win the 50-50 handily. Instinct even getting the demo, trying to set it up, but Wallace is there with the clear. Instinct once again tries to set up the shot for a teammate, but it's cleared once again. UNLV's defense struggling to get broken through by the Broncos as Tubb just trying to maintain ball control here. Goes for a shot on goal, high left, and gets it in!
What a flip reset off the ceiling is going to find the most unique way to get this. One that Gil nor Instinct could get to in time, and just finding top corner bins. What a shot coming out from Garrett.
So in the span of a minute, we went from a 4-goal deficit to 1.
Yep.
The Broncos struggling to try and maintain this lead as UNLV pulls it together right now. Just need to stay alive for 20 seconds and they will take this round. UNLV's going to have to give it everything they got in order to bring it to 2-0. Broncos just need to maintain control and try to deny it. Double defenders is great strategy for them right now, but UNLV tries to set it up. A nice distraction from Gil. Ooh, shot coming in with the double come in means Broncos sending it to 1-1.
Sending it 1-1, and this heat map is so much more different. The statistics of total shot, boost use, side control is, sort of still in the favor of UNLV, but a lot more blue that you're seeing on the screen right now.
A lot more blue shots as well. That first round was pretty one-sided on shots, and now it was clean even.
It's a lot more.
So now as we get ready to jump into this next matchup, Broncos able to hold on to their lead, not as handily as they wanted to say the least.
Yeah, and you sort of have to forget those last minute, right?
Yep.
If you have to look at it at the perspective of a win is a win, right? You tied up the series, you're still alive, your mental toughness is there, your attitude is there, and your commitment. Just forget those last minute, right? Those last 3 goals they scored, throw them out the window. They don't matter. The win is a win. That's the present. That's the mentality you got to have.
Yeah, so these players maintaining focus, leaning in as we are jumping into round number 3 to try to, I don't want to say break the tiebreaker because it's only 1-1, but that's kind of where we're at.
That's
so
that's
in a best of 5, we are guaranteed to at least see Game 4. This might determine whether or not we see Game 5 if we even get into overtime. But an early goal once again in the favor of UNLV.
UNLV finding so much momentum off this kickoff goal. It's just such an unfortunate 50-50 off the kickoff. Just sets Garrett up with this just simple little touch into the net, and that's all it really takes. But it's only 1 goal, and it was only 3 seconds.
Only 3 seconds.
Only.
So 50-50 goes straight up, but Wallace gets control, and that's bounces off the top right corner, and saved by the Bell Broncos. Are so lucky that Wallace was just a hair off of it. You know he is fuming after that shot. So Broncos continue this fight right now. Still need to try to clear this board out of the corner.
Wallace send it out mid. Dirtho's there, does get beat up by Tuv. Wallace is up, getting for this double touch. Saved by Instinct. The counterattack is on for BSU. Not finding much room. Only one defender left for UNLV. Trying to get the demo. Dirtho with the 50 off the ceiling, finding UNLV in an awkward spot. Garen trying to follow up to the sidewall. No more boost in the tank to follow up. An open net. Oh, Instinct is there.
Came flying in from left field as Dirtho has a nice shot. Just goes a bit wide to the left. Instinct tries to clear it out into the mid, but doesn't have the right angle. Instead, just sends it flying into the Broncos' own corner. Dirtho able to try and recenter it, but doesn't have the boost. It falls a bit too low to go for that shot.
That ball just lost speed unless it was a free net for Boise State. Gill trying to get the 50. Instinct following up on it. Trying to get the redirect. Gill doesn't quite get it, giving Wallace the credit for the save. Instinct now up off the midfield, gets a 50 with Garen. Tuv trying to regroup UNLV to put another one on the board. A double commit for BSU out. Wallace off the backboard, send it to teammate Garen with the shot, the double touch. Puts UNLV up 2-0.
Nice bounce off the crossbar will go in the favor of UNLV after a much longer time in between goals that the Broncos definitely wanted, but they need to start scoring for their own as we're seeing a repeat here of the first round. Broncos need to get some aggression out, and this has also been the tamest round we've seen in the side of demos. Not a single one yet so far.
Which still is, just as you call that out.
Master's curse, baby.
Just an absolute heat-seeking missile Tuv turned into. Instinct trying to carry this ball out. A lot of pressure from the side of UNLV right now.
Try to go for another self-bounce goal off the crossbar. Gill just barely missing it too early for that shot. So Instinct now having to play defense. Goes over the heads of both defenders. Means that he might have a shot, but Wallace is there with perfectly placed denial. Though tries to go for the shot, still goes a hair wide to the left. All-out offense has been working out here. The Broncos' aggression, but ball so quickly turned over to the side that both defenders have to clear it out of the corner.
Forcing that touch off to the sidewall. Wallace. Gill actually getting a boom of a clear. Isn't going to find any type of shot on net, but Tuv is there to clean it up. Instinct, one more touch on the sidewall to the mid pass. Isn't going to find any success on the goal for that. Dirtho missing the ball. Wallace is there for the shot. Instinct is there to disrupt. Ooh. Gill put it up an effort and a half for the defensive side.
Yeah, having to take on two attackers is definitely showing how much these Broncos have had to play defense against UNLV right now, but only a minute 45 remaining for the Broncos to get 2 goals. We know it's completely possible. We saw UNLV get 3 goals in a minute. They just need to get ball control, but losing it just like that. A well-placed angle and shot coming out from Wallace. Means that it's set to 3-0 right now. UNLV is looking to take round 3.
The pressure that UNLV had in forcing the Broncos into an awkward position on the defensive side really puts them on our back foot, and that sort of shows that this timeline of goals that we had.
2 50-50s just end in a tie. Finally, UNLV will get side control against the Broncos. Broncos just need to look out for an opening in this defense of UNLV right now.
Not able to find a powerful enough clear or keeping possession of the ball long enough to really kind of contest UNLV's possession.
Back-to-back demos now. UNLV is going back to their roots that won in the first game.
There's a third. And the 50 from Garen putting Instinct out of play. The pass to the sidewall. Dirtho trying to get a read, doesn't get it. Sticking with the ball. Instinct trying to clear the ball, but Wallace is there. Outside of Instinct.
Instinct going for a nice shot, knocked up by Garen, but Dirtho's there with another recenter. Gill goes for it, but with a double defender setup. This is the Broncos' aggression we want to see here.
Dirtho off the sidewall. No BSU player able to make an attacking attempt. Instinct back to clear it. Gil finding himself in the UNLV half. Dirtho with a lot of possession here, up off the wall, looking for a second.
Ooh.
Tubb is going to make an amazing defensive effort.
He's trying to maintain control of that ball so the Broncos can make this goal and finally at least have one on the board here. But UNLV is not going to give them an inch. Instead, it's going to rely on Gil to deny a great shot coming out from Tubb.
Dirtho missing quite a bit here, leaving Gil last to play. And with that, the clock turning down, there's no chance for Boise State to make a comeback in Game 3 here, but it's not the end-all be-all for Game 3 right there. You are putting match point, a little bit of pressure.
This is where the prediction on desk comes into play because we predicted that this game is going to go 3-1. So if that prediction's to come true, that means UNLV wins and maintains their undefeated status, but as a Bronco desk and broadcast,
I would like to be wrong here.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I would like to be wrong here.
Going to Game 5 is definitely ideal, but that has been the most dominating display we have seen from UNLV so far.
Oh, yeah, just sort of a steadier pace, a little less chaotic than first game was, right? And then we saw a little bit of the UNLV.
Definitely got more chaotic as it went on as we just had demo back to back.
But a little more tame, just a little bit more, which is sort of them finding that balance, right, with that strongness. And it's more on now Boise State of keeping possession of the ball and trying to find a clear when you're put on defensive half. And on the defensive half, which comes a lot to the basics, boost management, possession, keeping control of the ball. 50-50s as much as you can control it, right? It is a 50-50 at the end of the day. There's very little you can do about it. But now more than anything, it's that mental side of the game. Rocket League and most video games are mental, especially when you're down at match point.
Yeah. And that being match point, you have to play like it's the last game because it could be. And so you also have to watch out for UNLV getting a 3-second goal so early on. These early 50-50s, we can talk about it all we want, but it's so important. But it looks like the Broncos almost had it bouncing off the right goalpost of UNLV. Almost had such an early goal of themselves, which would be so key. A nice setup here, bouncing off the crossbar. It's hovering right on the edge of the goal, but unable to secure it.
Broncos trying to look for some quality touches out here. Tubb with the wall defense is going to fake the touch, get it over Gil. Finding Dirtho on the back foot of defense. Wallace.
Beautiful defense coming out from Dirtho right at the last second and keeping it out of the corner. Now Gil denying it once again.
Dirtho's trying to find any bit of opening here. I believe this is Instinct up the sidewall. Tubb now to take possession.
Ooh, nice setup, but then no one was there to follow up. As boost management has just been a struggle for both of these teams right now because it's been all out aggression and pushing the other teams to their limits.
Gavin and Tubb being almost at, actually the entirety side of UNLV being almost at an empty tank.
Only one person has boost right now and they only have 12, a single pad of pickup. Finally, they will pick up a full 100, but Broncos at least able to maintain side control right now.
Not for long, as UNLV is going to send it over to the BSU side.
Ooh,
Dirtho's only got
nice
one more
win.
opponent to beat.
The 50-50 and loses the next one, but has Gil to at least follow up as well as Instinct. Try to clear up top. No one is set up in the mid for that shot, so Gil will clear. Dirtho denies Wallace that as well. Ooh, nice setup for Instinct, but goes to the left.
Gil up, trying to beat Garen, does get a beat, sending off to the sidewall. Dirtho sending it back up. Instinct's now up, off the sidewall, not putting a shot on net. Tubb missing the commit. Dirtho send it back off the sidewall. Wallace putting the ball a little bit of center. Could be dangerous.
He doesn't have the boost for it. Ooh. Will run out of steam about 2/3 of the way there. So now Tubb will have to try to pick up that aerial and carry it through, but gets stuck in the corner. Which means Wallace needs to try to clear out of this corner. Tries to send it into the mid for someone to take the shot. Looks like it will be Dirtho. Nice shot on the corner. Wallace is there with the denial, though. Gil tries to recenter, but Garen is there with the denial to send it flying to the Broncos' goal. Dirtho misses the denial. Gil with the defense. Denies the shot, but now first demo of the round coming out onto Instinct. Could spell first goal as we're just now getting to the last 2 minutes. UNLV gets one.
Just about a minute longer, it would have been very similar to game 2, but
Yeah.
Wallace getting a really good flip reset there, setting up Guarantees just get a really good 50 that plays all in the favor of UNLV. About 2 minutes left, only 1 goal. Nothing really to be confident about on the side of UNLV. You're definitely feeling nervous, but Boise State definitely needs to find the W key and the gas pedal and find a goal here to equalize it.
They got 2 minutes to make it happen. Ooh, a nice attempt there, but Wallace just was slightly able to outboost him, deny that shot. Broncos just now losing side control. Nice bounce back to goal. It's gonna be for Tuv, I believe. It's back-to-back goals for UNLV. Things are not looking good for the Broncos right now.
Having a whole lot of pressure on you, both in the game, on the pitch, and mentally, is sort of put a little bit of barrier on Boise State's ability to put one in the net and find any kind of relief. Tuv is up for this. No backboard defense.
Whoa.
Does put it down. Wallace might find one. Doesn't get it. Boise State defense coming in clutch here. The pass out mid. Might find it. Garrett.
Garrett now has 3 goals, I believe, here, and UNLV really securing this, but we know in the final minute it's possible.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen UNLV pull it off, so can the Broncos replicate it themselves? I think the best way to do it here is go for those demos. Broncos don't have a single one, whereas UNLV has 3 of their own. It worked in game number 2. The demos and the aggression was able to off-put UNLV's own strategy that they seemingly were not ready for. But Broncos just being ran over right now, struggling to find a footing.
Could find an open net now. Instinct not open anything on. Getting shot credit though. Gil trying to recenter it for teammates. Not going to find anything favorable. Dirtho missing the commit. Instinct now forced to play off the wall. Dirtho looking for a cheeky little pass back down to Instinct.
There it
Instinct
is.
the demo. This could be the relief moment that Boise State's looking for. Just got to keep the pressure on Max. Dirtho getting one beat, getting the reset off the ceiling. Wallace is going to get a good level of backboard defense.
Wallace with the denial for Gill's setup. Instinct tries to go for another one, but Garen's there with the denial and the demo onto him. But at least Gill's there to deny the shot on goal. Tubbs tries to set up in the mid. Instinct goes a hair low, but has a teammate to recuperate for it. Gill goes for the disruption rather than the ball, giving the possibility for Dirtho here.
Seconds.
And Instinct's there, but it's a bit early on that shot, so now it's up to Gill on the defense to try to keep things alive. 5 seconds remaining. Looks like UNLV might take it.
Last second, ball's
There
going
it
to touch the
is.
ground, and there it is. UNLV, unfortunately, the prediction came true. UNLV is going to take it in a 3-1 fashion. However, though, do want to iterate, this does not mean anything for the playoff match. This was simply sort of just for pride and for takes and for number 1, which is good seeding-wise.
Yep.
But nevertheless, Boise State is probably going to take the number 3 spot, just below CC as well, Columbia College. And in turn to that, not only having a good match, we also have this December, Boise State Esports is partnering with Idaho Central Credit Union and Idaho Food Bank to host the Giving Games charity tournament. Gamers will compete for glory, but the ultimate winners will be the neighbors facing hunger who will receive nutritious food for meals thanks to the contestants and spectator support. For every $1 donated, the Idaho Food Bank can provide food for up to 4 meals. For more information on how you can watch and support, go to boisestate.edu/esports/event/Giving Games 2022. At the little bit of a heartbreaking defeat coming out for the Broncos here tonight, UNLV remaining undefeated and taking the number 1 seed spot, which in CRL was done recently last semester as well, but is nonetheless an impressive feat to hold as well.
Yeah, it just goes to show how much they've committed to maintaining the spot and how well they've just gotten at the game. And I think it just goes to show who they have different play styles, not just solely relying on all-out aggression on the demos, which we saw in Game 1 did get them that advantage, but Broncos were still able to get the goals. So at least Broncos were able to take a round off of the undefeated team. I think that's something you definitely want to take away is we weren't 3-0'd. We took something away from them and applied the pressure. So they well-deserved 3rd or 2nd seed, whichever they get.
and not playing this team very much at all. The last time we played UNLV, which was a similar team, was last semester. So there was not a whole lot of background or a whole lot of knowledge to work off of as well, more than less like we've had with other teams similarly in our Western Conference. But to sort of tie it all up together, the Western Conference is set. The 8 teams that are moving on to secure that, with UNLV taking first, Columbia College is going to be taking second, and Boise State will most likely be taking third place, which actually before this match actually happened, in a very close match, just being tied down to differentiating points, Missouri S&T secures the number 8 spot, clinching their playoff round.
So the stage is set.
The stage is set. The stakes are there. So this game, throw it out the window. It doesn't matter. The real chance happens at playoffs now. That's the games to keep. That's where pride and glory.
And now you have something to
all go
VOD
down.
review off of and take as many notes as possible. As how can we break this apart, tear it open, and utilize it?
Use that as nothing but motivation for your players and to move forward nonetheless. And then any other ending remarks for us?
I think we stated it all. I mean, it's definitely you have resources at your disposal now of how to combat this opponent going into it next. So I think Broncos this isn't the hardest loss that they've ever suffered. I mean, 3-1, we predicted on desk out of a best of 5, I think is probably the best you could ask for going up against 8 undefeated opponent. I mean, it's a mountain to climb, and they did their best, but now you have resources to combat it going into it next time around. So heads up.
Nevertheless, a quality match that we had, and I know I had fun on desk casting it. I imagine also the fans that we had were a blast as well. And, we go again next time around. But we are going to leave you here tonight. But don't forget that playoffs are the 18th of this month as well. So we're going to go ahead and leave you the top 5 presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time with more than 10 jobs offering $20K bonuses and a degree of your choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is the best team out there. From all of us at Boise State and our players as well, we thank you, and go ahead, check out with us.
Getting it over one, Tub the last defender. This could be it. Trying to fake it out. Dirt though.
First goal for the Broncos in this best of 5. Great double commit because the defenders were not set up in time. So we'll get the first, hopefully of many. They can maintain it there. The ball is back in the center.
Just looking for a pass on instinct. Isn't going to find any success with it. Durtha's going to miss the touch off the ceiling. Gill trying to get it around Wallace. Doesn't get it. In a little bit of a danger zone. Tough shot. Durtha the save. An amazing sequence.
Yeah, boys.
Doesn't get the double touch. Instinct's going to go for the counter. The demo from Gill. Not a little boost on Instinct side.
Back to back.
Instinct following this ball. It was not what I expected at all, but making it happen with absolutely no defense in the net for the side of UNLV. Inside of UNLV, Durtho off the ceiling, trying to make a touch, gets the 50 with Tubb, sending it back out of mid. Instinct off the sidewall, Gill's next to follow up.
Hey! 3 back-to-back goals. Also one from every team for the Broncos, no less. I mean,
Wallace from the ceiling, getting one touch and done, sending out the Instinct. Instinct has a beat.
Is that it? The long shot. Coming out from Instinct.
The pass from Gill from the touch from Wallace there was just absolutely perfect. Setting up Gill with this bang that Tubb had